This is the Troll Patrol. Live with Justin Freakin.
I love that everyone's like, oh fuck, what happened now? Nothing, we're just getting the first campaign event from Harris for President taking place in Wisconsin. Currently going on, they've got a couple speakers before Harris. We're going to get the first words. She has secured the delegates needed to become the nominee. So it is almost a done deal. Harris for president. Good afternoon, PB Girl, Curiouser, Sky Comet, Warlord. Good afternoon. I love that Warlord's like, making me think Biden died. It's in the description. It says what we're here for. Harris's first campaign rally. I'm not high enough for this shit. We're going to be coming on about 10-15 minutes early tomorrow night. Joe Biden giving a speech at 8 o'clock. So be prepared for that. Tomorrow night we're going to come on about 15 minutes early so we can cover the Joe Biden speech at 8 o'clock where he's going to explain his decision to relinquish his spot atop the ticket in this November's election for president. Good afternoon. Welcome. We are waiting for Vice President Kamala Harris to speak. Here is your meme of the day. Matthew Crooks asking, why am I in heaven? Because you shot that pedophile at the podium. Oh shit, M Lord. Tell Media Winch to come raid me. Rada, good afternoon. Apparently, the vice president has had a hell of a haul when it comes to fundraising. This is the campaign event.
Due to a childhood illness. That is why I got into this fight in the first place. I wrote the provision in the Affordable Care Act that allows young people to stay.
This is Senator Tammy Baldwin from Wisconsin.
Until they turn 26. And
the Wisconsin governor
I will never stop fighting.
Spoke right before Senator Baldwin.
Have the quality, affordable health care they deserve. And on the economy, Eric Hovde wants to cut Social Security and Medicare while giving, get this, while giving new tax breaks to the ultra-wealthy.
Apparently, the Harris campaign, coconuts. Everybody's on the coconut gang now. I love it.
I will always
Sparkles.
bring down the cost
Good afternoon.
of families and make sure that multimillionaires like my opponent.
I'm part of the coconut gang. I didn't fall out of a coconut tree. Go get you some hot D, Curiouser.
So, Wisconsin, in just 105 days, you will have a choice. A choice between Kamala Harris and Donald
America really hates Trump that much.
Between me and my opponent, and the stakes of that choice.
Oh, God, do I have to go find it? All right, Curiouser, hold on.
So, if you're with me in this fight, I ask you all to join my campaign at TammyBaldwin.com. Or
we're all part of the coconut gang now.
Tammy to 24007. I am looking out over this crowd, and I am so encouraged. I know that we will not only fight, I know.
So sorry, Tammy. Also, apparently, Harris is adopting Charlie XCX's brat motif, apparently.
Just fell out of a coconut tree. You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
I'm just living that life on.
They've already remixed it. With Charlie XCX. I love it. I'm in the coconut gang. What the hell? Apparently we're currently waiting for Vice President Harris to take the podium. I don't know why people are giving her such a hard time. I'm happy as a woman. I'm happy it's somebody that's under 60. I'm happy it's someone that can speak a complete sentence. DJ Dub. Yes, she's a cop. All cops are bastards. That includes her. But we need a bastard to go up against Trump. I think the Democrats putting the cop up against the criminal is a very good move. She loves Gen Z. Thank God we finally have a candidate that loves Gen Z. Princess Kimberly, good morning to you, if it be morning where you're at. We're currently waiting for Vice President Kamala Harris, the current presumptive presidential nominee. She has obtained the pledged delegates she needs to become the nominee at the convention. So she is apparently the POTUS candidate. Well, here, this is a more apropos meme as we wait on Harris. I believe Sparkles is saying she's going to have a mammogram, which, ladies, I've said it several times. As I am 40, I need to go have a colonoscopy. I need to have a prostate exam because I am 40. Ladies, you're supposed to have a mammogram. Is it every 3 years? Every 5? You're supposed to self-examine every year, and you're supposed to have a you're supposed to have a checkup every 3 years. Got kicked to the Midas Touch stream. Also, fucking Midas Touch. They got in touch with me. They asked me if I would be interested in coming to work for them as a video editor. I said yes, and never heard back from them. And it wasn't like I was applying for a job or anything. Like, they headhunted me. They came to me and said, would you be interested in being a video editor for us? And I said yes. Never heard back from them. I don't know. I'd totally go to work for Midas Touch. I've seen their content. I know mine looks a lot better. Ladies, check with the health department. They might have free mammogram screenings for you. Look at me being all public service announcement today. Trying to be responsible. Get your prostates checked. Get your titties checked. Get your colonoscopy.
A titty slap! Give me those titties,
Come on now.
Get you a titty slap. I don't know what we're waiting on. I thought Baldwin was probably going to be the last speaker and she was going to introduce Vice President Kamala Harris for us, but guess we're just going to hang out for a little bit. Let me get you the story on the delegate count on Harris. Reported by the Guardian 16 hours ago, Vice President Kamala Harris has secured the support of a majority of Democratic delegates to become the party's nominee for president. A survey by the Associated Press on Monday evening said she had received the endorsement of more than the 1,976 delegates needed to win the nomination in the first round of voting. The number you may have thrown out, the 2,000 and something, that may have changed after 2016. I mean, technically the convention is open. Libertad, good afternoon. Were you here for the... Is that what you're referencing, the conversation where apparently... I don't think you can send shit through the mail. But apparently you can. Apparently you can send... Or is that something you have to do through like a UPS? You gotta send that FedEx or something. They'll handle your fecal samples. I'm not high enough for this shit. Well, would you look at this? Didn't cash it out last night. You can ship poo through the USP. No way, M. Lord. Torchy, good afternoon. Yeah, I saw a picture of a Let's Go Brandon store going around. Like, sucks to be that guy today. Once again, we're waiting for this event in Wisconsin to get started with Vice President Kamala Harris. She's supposed to be speaking at a campaign event. We heard from, I believe it was Tony Evers, the governor of Wisconsin, as well as Senator Tammy Baldwin from Wisconsin. They were speaking just a few minutes ago. I thought I was kind of rushing to get on the stream. Apparently, Harris taking her sweet ass time. Doogie Logistics, that's what we're talking about here in the chat. Yes, it's weed o'clock. Porg, good afternoon. It appears that I passed out last night before I finished my bong. So we will cash out my bong from last night. I don't remember what happened. I know I ate a lot. I had taco salad, but I didn't have any chips. I didn't feel like making a potato, so it was just meat, cheese, some lettuce, and some sour cream. I'm sorry, Sky Comet. That sucks. And then I bought these. Curiouser and I went to Big Lots yesterday. And I bought these, what are those things called? They're like the swirly cookie stick things. And you dip them in your coffee and shit. Little cone things. I didn't even see what you bought. Yeah, she went down this. First of all,
welcome, Leah Esser.
All right, so here is our next speaker at the event. Yes, those things are amazing. The pirouettes.
Hello, Wisconsin!
Oh, God.
My name is Dr. Leah Esser, and I am so honored to be introducing
Doctor, please curb your enthusiasm.
of the United States of America,
The Papadopoulos ones.
Vice President Kamala Harris. As an educator, I am so proud of the work that I do to serve our state and teach the next generation of leaders.
She looks a lot like one of my exes.
Or not for the Biden-Harris administration, I would
Sorry, you got an ad. You got here just in time.
and unable to
Dr. Leah is going to introduce
I love.
Vice President Harris for us. I think she's just enthusiastic.
Administration's commitment to public service. I had almost all of my student loan debt
Oh my God.
giving me the opportunity to serve the scholars I love without being burdened by debt.
Oh yeah, M. Lord, I'll check that out. I was thinking it was...
As well as the teachers, counselors, social workers.
It was like biological warfare or something.
Many, many more with whom I serve our students in the state of Wisconsin.
And it might be if you're just sending a turd to somebody and they don't know they're...
That
But like, I assume it has to be...
we will be voting for when we
properly labeled.
President Kamala Harris this November. Vice President Harris has been standing up for ordinary Americans her entire career. From her service as a prosecutor to her time as district attorney, attorney general.
The fucking government, curiouser.
And vice-
Or otherwise, it's biological warfare.
She has always stood for the people. As Attorney General, Vice President
Don't
Harris
send turds in the mail.
has been taken advantage
But,
of by for-profit colleges.
my God.
And Vice President...
You people.
And as Vice President, she fought
Life
for
is too
student
short
debt
to
relief.
walk this earth for a crusty asshole. Wash your ass.
I know that when we elect her President of the United States,
No.
she will be fighting for us.
And that's like the only kink I don't have.
And just yesterday,
Pain and poop.
she won the support of the delegates needed our party. And now it is my distinct honor to introduce the first woman
Here we go.
Vice President of the United States and the next
This is our first official speech,
Kamala.
our first official campaign speech from the Harris for President contingency. Is she coming out to Beyonce? Yeah, she's coming out to Beyonce. Once again, if you're having a hard time getting into it, remember,
Thank you.
this woman being elected president will make Hillary Clinton's head explode.
Thank you.
If you need motivation, that's the motivation.
Thank you all.
Poo box or P.O. box?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. It is good to be back. Thank you all very much. Can we please hear it for Leah and her extraordinary story and leadership? Thank you. And I do believe our teachers do God's work. They teach other people's children, and God knows we don't pay them enough.
Fuck yeah.
And it is so good to be here and be back with so many extraordinary leaders, including my friend, the great governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers.
My apologies, I said Evers earlier.
My dear friend, Senator Tammy Baldwin. And you know, I had the privilege of serving with Tammy when I was in the
The
United
polls
States.
say one thing,
Always
that
fight
the,
for
that
people
the
of
rest of the
state, and
country
I know that the folks that are here are going to make sure you
did not
return
want
home
Trump
to
or Biden.
Washington, D.C. in November. Yes, we are going to elect her back to Washington, D.C. It is so good to be here also with Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez, Attorney General Josh Cole, Wisconsin Secretary of State Sarah Godlewski, County Executive David Crowley, Mayor Cavalier Johnson.
That's the thing that's gonna
great
give her the
state
win.
party
She's not
chair,
Trump or Biden.
Wickler.
Insane fact.
I have worked worked with, Ben, you and I have been working.
This will be the first
He
election
knows how to build the infrastructure that
since
delivers
1976
the ballot. Thank you, Ben.
that a Bush, Biden, or
So
Clinton
it is good to
are not on the ballot.
and it is great to be in Milwaukee.
First time in my lifetime.
As many of you know, our state campaign headquarters are in this city. Yes, and there is a reason for that. The path to the White House goes through Wisconsin. Yes, it does. And to win in
You
Wisconsin,
damn right. And she is doing the thing that Hillary Clinton did not do. Harris is in Wisconsin.
and you all helped us win in 2020. And in 2024, we will win again. Yes, we will. So, Milwaukee, I want to start by saying a few words, and I could really speak at length, but a few words about our incredible President Joe Biden. It has truly been one of the greatest honors of my life to serve as vice president to our President Joe Biden. Joe's legacy of accomplishment over his entire career and over the past 3.5 years is unmatched in modern history.
There is indeed a Kennedy on the ballot.
Think about it. In one term as president, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who served 2 terms in office.
That's why I want it to be Bashir debating Vance. Cooper will work too. Shapiro also would be good.
We are all deeply, deeply grateful for his
But
continued.
you get Andy Bashir, who was actually from Appalachia, to debate J.D. Vance, who is a fake Appalachian, and it is locked up.
It is my great honor to have Joe Biden's endorsement in this race. So, Wisconsin, I am told as of this morning that we have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination. And I am so very honored, and I pledge to you I will spend the coming weeks continuing to unite our party so that we are ready to win in November. So, friends, we have 105 days until Election Day, and in that time, we've got some work to do. But we're not afraid of hard work. We like hard work, don't we? And we will win this election. Yes, we will.
Yes, we can.
So as Leah told you, before I was elected vice president, before I was elected United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then. And in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators
You got the perps.
who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers,
Battle Opossum. It is
who broke
election time.
for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Rostafarian. Mamala. Mamala. The country needs a mamala.
And in this campaign, I promise you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. As Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that was scamming students. Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. As a prosecutor, I specialized in cases involving sexual abuse. Well, Trump was found liable
is a sexual abuser.
Abuse.
See, this is perfect.
As Attorney General of California, I took on the big Wall Street banks and held them accountable for fraud.
Oh shit, they might bring Maya Rudolph back.
Guilty of fraud on 34 counts.
But I feel like they've had a Harris.
But let's also make no mistake, this campaign
has it been Igawodum?
About us versus Donald Trump. This campaign is about who we fight for. This is about who we fight for. Just look at how we are running our campaigns. So Donald Trump is relying on support from billionaires and big corporations. And he is
there's an uproar to get Maya Rudolph back as
contributions.
Kamala.
A couple months ago, y'all saw that a couple months ago at Mar-a-Lago, he literally promised big oil companies, big oil lobbyists, he would do their bidding for $1 billion in campaign donations. On the other hand, we are running a people.
I wish I liked coconut cake. I wish I liked coconut.
And we just had some breaking news. We just had the best 24 hours.
I'm in the coconut gang, but I'm not a fan.
Fundraising in presidential campaign.
Adrian Vixen, welcome in. 12 trolls that are not high enough for this shit. Hope you had a fantastic stream, Adrian.
And because we are a people-powered campaign, that is how you know.
Somebody give Adrian a shout out for us.
Presidency. And Wisconsin, this campaign is also about two different visions.
I mean, we are live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
One, where we are focused on the future.
This is the very first Harris for President campaign event.
Focused on the past. We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead.
Getting ready to do the thing, isn't she? She's going to say the line.
A future where no child has to grow up in poverty. Where every worker has the freedom to join a union. Where every person has affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid family leave.
I thought we were going to get the coconut line.
We believe in a future where every senior can retire with dignity. So all of this is to say, building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
Yeah, I wanted her to say the line. I wanted to pop for it.
Here's the thing we all here, Wisconsin, know. When our middle class is strong, America is strong.
She's gotten better.
But Donald Trump wants to take our country backward.
Maybe she just looks
Dream Project 2020
so much better in comparison to what we've had.
Will weaken the middle class. Like, we know we got to take this seriously. And can you believe they put that thing in writing?
Well, the coconut is the lead in to the "you are everything that came before you."
900 pages. But here's the thing.
You didn't fall out of a coconut tree now.
Intends to
You are everything that has came before you. Unburdened by what could have been. I don't even remember what it is.
To billionaires and big corporations and make working families foot the bill. They intend to end the Affordable Care Act.
To everyone that partakes, light one up, tip one back.
Insurance companies have the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Remember what that was like? Children with asthma, women who survived breast cancer, grandparents with diabetes.
We blow some smoke in an asthmatic child's face.
Economic policies before, but we are not
mean like
back.
that.
We are not going back. Not going back. We're not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back.
We're not going back.
We're not going back. And I'll tell you why we're not going back. Because ours is a fight for the future.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
And it is a fight for
That little possum got me this shirt.
generations of
You can call.
Generations. And we have to remember this. The shoulder
Patrol.
we stand. Generations of Americans
What timing?
before us led the fight for freedom. And now, Wisconsin, the baton is in our hands.
You should have said torch, because, you know, we're coming up on the Olympics.
We, who believe in the sacred freedom to vote, will make sure every American has the ability to cast their ballot and have it counted.
Ah, baton, yep, because she's a cop. That
We,
makes
who
sense.
believe that every person in our nation who should have the freedom to live safe from the terror of gun violence, will finally pass.
Because you know, it's just another day.
Background checks and an assault weapons ban. And we, who believe in reproductive freedom, will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
Goddamn right. Sounds just like Maya Rudolph. Maya Rudolph sounds just like her.
And when Congress passes a law to restore reproductive freedoms as President of the United States, I will sign it into law. So, Wisconsin, ultimately in this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? A country and to your point, do we want to live in a country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law? Or a country of chaos, fear, and hate? And here's the beauty of this moment. We each have the power to answer that question. The power is with the people. We each have the power to answer that question. And in the next 105 days, then we have work to do. We have doors to knock on, we have phone calls to make, we have voters to register, and we have an election to win. So, Wisconsin, today I ask you, are you ready to get to work?
She's good now.
Believe in freedom.
It could just be
Believe in opportunity.
comparative to what we've had.
Promise of America. And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God
Bam! She nailed it. She fucking nailed that speech. I don't know if she's got Obama levels of charisma, but she is leaps and bounds what she was in 2020. That was fucking. Well, yeah, no, they gotta say God bless. Wild ride. Good afternoon, my friend. I didn't notice Pork. I noticed the ASL person was really good. Venus, good afternoon. Did you just miss that? Holy shit, because, like, she knocked it out of the park. That was a fantastic speech. Holy goddamn. That was leaps and bounds better than I have ever seen her. So, in the last 4 years, she settled into her role. She's really come into her own as a public speaker. I didn't realize he dropped out on ice cream day. That is apropos for Joe Biden, who absolutely fucking loves ice cream. And his favorite is double chocolate.
Come on, man.
I like that if I'm on in a weird time, people are like, oh shit, what happened? Cool. That takes me back to my news days when I was working in radio. Because, like, that's one of the reasons why they wouldn't let me do a show on our pop station. Was because, like, when they wanted people, when they heard my voice, they're hearing news. So if I'm on at some weird time that isn't the top of the hour, they know to, like, turn up the radio. Some shit's going down. And we only did it when it was important too. Like I didn't come on for like any old bullshit. So wow, I fucking good job, Vice President Harris. If you had your doubts about this election, I think the best thing I can tell you is that all the Democrats across the country were out polling Joe Biden. Purgatoris, you just missed. CJ, thank you for being a freaking follower. From the 6, too. You got my 6? The main thing to look at is that the country really didn't want Trump or Biden. Either or. Anybody but Trump or Biden. So that is automatically in Kamala Harris's favor. I think her being able to speak complete sentences and make fucking sense is plenty enough to reignite enthusiasm. Okay, since everybody's talking about I was gonna do this first, but let's go ahead. We'll talk about the vice presidential pick. She has sent vetting materials to 7 people. We have 7. I think Andy Beshear is the best choice. You have him sitting across from J.D. Vance. Andy Beshear is a legitimate Appalachian, not like J.D. Vance. You've got a real Southern man. He's from a Republican state where he is popular in a Republican state. Harris campaign vetting 7 Dems for VP, including Whitmer, Cooper, Kelly, Shapiro. Vice President Harris' presidential campaign has requested vetting materials from 7 Democrats under consideration to be her vice presidential running mate. USA Today has learned those being vetted for the job are North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, U.S. Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. The Harris campaign has also requested vetting materials from one Democrat whose name has received much less attention as a vice presidential contender, Cedric Richmond, a former congressman from Louisiana who served as a top aide in the Biden White House and on his campaign. I would color that doubtful, Richmond told a New Orleans TV station. Whitmer also tried to take herself out of the running on Monday, telling a local TV station that she's not leaving Michigan. Notably missing from the Harris vice president vetting list that was shared by the source are Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Both have been speculated as running mate possibilities for Harris, with Beshear telling MSNBC on Monday that he had spoken with the vice president since Biden dropped out of the 2024 race. ABC News reported on Tuesday that Beshear is indeed among those who has been asked for vetting material. Former Obama-era Attorney General Eric Holder, who endorsed Harris this week, and Dana Ramus with the law firm Covington and Burlington LLP are leading the vetting process, according to a source familiar with the vetting effort. Ramus served as White House counsel in the Biden administration and led the vetting process for the U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson ahead of her mid-2022 Senate confirmation. I mean, Pete Buttigieg rubs me the wrong way. Of all the gay men, that's the best you can come up with? Come on. Is it Chastain? So probably Pete on his own I wouldn't hook up with. But if him and Chastain asked me to come over, yeah, I'd probably do it. Is it Chastain? Am I getting it right? I forget his husband's name. It all depends on the situation. Pete, not my type. Not my type at all. But then when you're talking about a multiple people situation, the requirements become a lot looser. Very vanilla. Very, very vanilla. We need the sexual anarchy, don't we? Hold on.
You live in sexual anarchy?
Think you fell out of a coconut tree? Probably need to make that a drop, don't I? Is this the interview? Apparently, Bashir had a really good interview this morning, I think it was. For those of you not familiar with Governor Andy Beshear,
the formal Democratic nominee, who is going to be doing that with her? The search for a running mate is very much on, with only 28 days to go before the Democratic convention in Chicago. And my lead source tonight is a governor who is widely being discussed as being near the top of Harris's shortlist.
Yeah, Biden won Arizona after Trump won Arizona in 2016.
Back here on the source, you just heard Vice President Harris addressing the campaign staff that is now her campaign staff in the last 24 hours. Obviously, it's been quite the 24 hours for her, for really everybody witnessing this. And I know you spoke to her yesterday. How'd that conversation go?
Well, thank you for having me. And I can't start without thanking President Biden for his incredible service. From leading us out of a pandemic at record speed, to being there for Kentuckians after tornadoes and floods, to helping us build the best economy of our lifetime, including the 2 biggest battery plants on planet Earth. He is an incredible American. I'm grateful for all the money to bring internet to every household in Kentucky, for clean drinking water, and for so much.
This is Andy Beshear.
I am excited to fully endorse the vice president to be the next president of the United States. She called me personally just hours after President Biden's announcement, and I admit that means a lot to me, but I'm not the only one. 10 hours on the phone doing the hard work that it takes to bring together the coalition that you see coming around her. There is so much energy, and it's energy because we know her. We know that she is a strong and smart person, which will make her a good president, but she is also a kind and empathetic person, and that's going to make her a great president.
Yes, he looks like the perfect boring white guy, and he's likable.
Vice president with empathy, looking out for people versus what's on the other side, which is just people looking out for themselves. I think you're going to see
politically. Good afternoon.
And I think the vice president's going to win this race, become the president of the United States, but most
you weren't here for the speech.
Past all this partisan bickering.
Clinically was not here for the Harris speech. Ragnitz, good afternoon. I do believe the chat is now a part of the Coconut Gang. Oh no, she hit it out of the park. As I said, it may just be that because she can speak complete sentences and she makes sense, she looks amazing in comparison to both Trump and Biden. But man, that speech was leaps and bounds better than anything that we have heard in the last 8 fucking years. She talked about labor. She talked about reproductive rights. She kicked off her campaign in Wisconsin. She's doing all the right things. It is a low bar to pass. That's why I'm saying it could just be in the space of, I mean, like, she came out, she was charismatic, she cracked jokes. She had a very enthusiastic crowd behind her. And they were hanging on her every word. And, like, yeah. Don't get your hopes up. Keep everything realistic as expectations. But, like, the Democrats stand a really good chance. The winds are blowing in their direction. Or against their backs. However the metaphor goes. It might be Jover for Joe Biden. Remember, we are still on
Biden dies of COVID watch.
Yeah, she was busting Trump's balls. She took it right to him. She talked about protecting the LGBTQ community. Like fucking... She's boycotting Netanyahu tomorrow. She's not going to preside over the Senate. She's doing everything she can to extend an olive branch to you clinically. The entire chat went Coconut Gang. She had a hold on everybody. She had us by the balls. This is Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who I think would be the best pick for Harris's VP running mate.
Also a kind and empathetic person, and that's going to make her a great president. Now, just think about the contrast.
Had some of us by the ovaries.
Vice president with empathy, looking out for people versus what's on the other side, which is just people looking out for themselves. I think you're going to see this energy continue.
Does everybody want a police chase?
Going to win this race, become the president of the United States, but most importantly, move us past all this partisan bickering, move us past the constant back and forth. People are exhausted about it, and she's got a chance to be that next leader that moves us beyond it.
Well, and you mentioned that you were one of the first people that she called. Did she mention anything about having you serve as her running mate potentially?
Well, I'm going to keep any of the details of that call personal, but what she did is she called and asked for my support, and I willingly gave it. She talked about having just months to make sure we won this election, but wanting to earn it. She said she didn't want a coronation, she wanted to earn it. And that's exactly what I needed to hear, that she is going to...
I don't want to come out and say she's pro-Palestine, but she's definitely better on
make
Palestine.
Her case to the American people. She is the perfect person to prosecute the case against Donald Trump. Here's a district attorney and a former attorney general like I was. That's out there having fought for victims of rape and incest, of domestic abuse, taking on Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, a guy that said when a woman is raped and becomes pregnant, it is, quote, inconvenient. Or that women should stay with a domestic abuser. I mean, that is really wrong.
He did say that
shit. The Vice President is the perfect person to contrast, that view and how wrong former President Trump and J.D. Vance are on those and so many more issues.
And I know you said you love your job as
Andy Bashir, is the perfect person to be
vice president. Would you lean towards saying yes?
Harris's vice president.
I do love my job here in Kentucky. My kids are happy. We're having record success. We've broken every record for private sector investment, new jobs, exports, tourism. Recidivism is at a low the last 3 years. Our drug overdoses are going down for the first time in a long time, which is critically important. So I love the work that I do. The only reason I'd ever consider something else is if I felt that I could help my people in Kentucky more in a different role, or that there was a chance to move past the partisanship, the constant fighting. What we've done in Kentucky is turn down the temperature and have everybody, Democrats and Republicans, focus on those things that aren't partisan, like good jobs, solid infrastructure, healthcare that's accessible and affordable to everyone.
He has been an effective governor,
safety, public education,
with a Republican supermajority.
America and our people are yearning for a time when they're not defined by their party, where everything from the car they drive to the beer they drink isn't about picking a team.
She is not presiding over the Senate tomorrow.
And get back to a sense of normalcy.
She's not going to be present for his speech.
Race, of course, this is a big question of who is going to be on that ticket with her if she is the nominee. There are some people who have already started submitting information for vetting purposes. Are you one of those people? Have you submitted any information to the Harris campaign?
I've not been personally asked to submit information at this point.
Okay, and you and I spoke right after you won re-election. It's a rare thing for a Democratic governor in a very red state like Kentucky. If you were selected as vice president, and I know we're talking about hypotheticals, but it matters.
Well, in modern political times, and he's the son of a popular governor.
And what would you bring to the ticket as far as appealing to rural voters who may have turned away from your party?
Well, I know how to talk to people on both sides of the aisle. You have to in a state like Kentucky. And again, it's recognizing that when people wake up in the morning, the things they're worried about aren't partisan. And they're not thinking about the presidential election. They're thinking about their job and whether they make enough to support their family. They're thinking about whether they can afford their next doctor's appointment for their parents or their kids or themselves. They're thinking about the safety of the roads and bridges they drive on that day. They're thinking about their public safety in their community, and they're thinking about their kids' future, their education, and then the opportunities. When we govern in that way, we don't move a state or a country to the right or the left. We just move it forward. And again, I think Americans are yearning for that. Now, stop the right and left. Everything isn't Democrat or Republican. If we're going to lead correctly, we can't view the world through a red or a blue lens when everything one team does is supposed to be right and everything the other team does is supposed to be wrong. People just want a better life, and they want leaders that will work for the benefit of everyone. When you create good jobs, you help Democrats and Republicans, independents, and anybody else, whether they voted for you or not. You know, my rule has always been, yes, I run as a proud Democrat, but the moment I win, I take that hat off and I try to serve every single Kentuckian. It's why I go to every part of the state, why we've created jobs everywhere, because there's not a Democratic or Republican job. There's just a community that need them and families that are improved by them.
Yeah, it sounds like you think you'd be able to help bring in some of those more moderate voters. But obviously, you know, this race, if it shapes up the way it is looking right now, would be Harris and Trump at the top of the ticket. I want you to listen to what J.D. Vance said today, Senator J.D. Vance, at his first solo rally since he was named as Donald Trump's running mate.
This is not okay, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot, for 3.5 years, take a guy who clearly didn't have the mental capacity to do the job. Kamala lied about it. My Senate Democratic colleagues lied about it.
What are you going to do about it, you fucker?
Every single person who saw Joe Biden knew that he wasn't capable of doing the job, and for 3 years they said nothing until he became political dead weight.
What's your reaction to that, Governor?
Well, first, he ought to call the vice president by her title. She earned it. She is Vice President Harris. But the second is they're grasping for straws. Listen, J.D. Vance is a phony. He's fake. I mean, he first says that Donald Trump is like Hitler, and now he's acting like he's Lincoln. I mean, the problem with J.D. Vance is he has no conviction, but I guess his running mate has 34.
Well, I'm glad you brought him up because he.
Goddamn!
Something you said today when you are calling him phony this morning. You said that he ain't Appalachia, as he talks about his roots and growing up in Ohio, but being raised in the summers by his grandmother. And
tell me that's not the perfect pick to be Harris's VP.
It's very weird to have a guy whose first job was at his dad's law firm and inherited the governorship from his father criticize my origin story. Like, yes, nobody gave me the governorship and nobody gave me a job except for my father was. I'm proud of that.
He said, nobody gave me the governorship and nobody gave me a job because of who my father was. I'm proud of that.
JD shoots back.
To your own father. What's your response to those comments from Senator Vance?
Well, what was weird was him joking about racism.
This is Andy Beshear. His father was Steve Beshear, and he was governor in the 2000s.
Today and then talking about Diet Mountain Dew. Who drinks Diet Mountain Dew? But in all seriousness, he ain't from here. He is not from Kentucky. Listen, this is a guy who would come maybe in the summers for some period of time or to weddings or funerals. And then he claims to be from Eastern Kentucky, tries to write a book about it to profit off our people. And then he calls us lazy. And this makes me angry, but it especially makes me angry about our people in Eastern Kentucky. Listen, these are the hardworking coal miners that powered the Industrial Revolution, that helped build the strongest middle class the world has ever seen, helped us win 2 world wars, and he called them lazy, acting like he understands our culture and he's one of us. He's not. This is a guy who went out to Silicon Valley that's trying to be an everyman. He ain't one of us.
They not like us. Goddamn. And that is why Andy Beshear is the perfect pick to be Vice President Harris's vice presidential running mate. Apparently, the Trump campaign is completely freaked out by the. We finding out what that news be doing. You guys are here. I'm here. Let's do it.
Democrats are coalescing around Vice President Harris. The former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, just endorsed the vice president, calling her support for Kamala Harris official, personal, and political. Meanwhile, the Trump campaign was quick to push out its first attack ads on the vice president, accusing her of covering up Biden's, quote, obvious mental decline.
Fucking fraud.
That this late change in the race is a blow to the Republican plan of action after spending months shaping their strategy around one simple fact, Joe Biden being their opponent. Former Republican strategist Sarah Longwell joins me now from Washington to discuss the state of play. Sarah, it's only been like a couple of days. You were back on with me on Friday. And whoa, so much has changed.
Whoa.
We've been discussing this throughout the hour. Maybe not that big of a surprise that Joe Biden ultimately decided that he will withdraw. That having been said, political earthquake here, given that Kamala Harris has received his endorsement and now appears to be the nominee. How is this playing out in Republican circles?
Ponder Monkey, good afternoon.
Well, look, there is no doubt about it. Donald Trump's campaign wanted to run against Joe Biden. They have made this campaign about age and mental acuity, which was always a little bit of a gamble for Donald Trump, considering that after Joe Biden,
They have made this race about age and acuity. When Donald Trump is off his fucking rocker, always has been, and is an old fucking fart.
Trump is the oldest nominee for president in the United States' history.
Are you okay,
so now
Venus?
that Joe Biden is gone, Donald Trump is the oldest nominee for president ever. And he is going to have to now live in the frame that he created. He's going to have to run against a much younger nominee who's going to have a...
M-Lord, I watched that last night as I was going to bed. Like when I was passing out with my bong, I didn't smoke. I watched last week tonight. And he said, we filmed this on Saturday, so God knows what could happen between... And I'm like, John, you don't even fucking know. You don't even fucking know. Holy shit, I had to jump on real fast on Sunday. I didn't expect it at that time. I figured if it was going to happen, we would have, like, notice. Like, there would be an announcement that Biden was going to give a press conference at some point in time. And we'd be like, oh, this is it. But no, it was just like a whimper in the middle of an afternoon on a Sunday. And I heard that apparently they had Wolf Blitzer. Well, I'll fucking find that. I read an article about it, but I have not seen video. Apparently, Wolf Blitzer had been having a few Wolf Spitzers. had posted about day drinking on his social media before he got called in. Because I even brought it up because we were watching CBS coverage. And they brought in Norah O'Donnell. And I'm like, oh, yeah, they got to bring in the big guns for the major breaking news. So, like, you call in Lester Holt on NBC. You call in Wolf Blitzer on CNN.
This president, who is also young, and they're going to be able to run on generational change. And on change in general, I mean, I cannot tell you how many focus groups I have sat through, and I do at least one a week, if not more. People were so down on this choice. The reason the term double haters became the term for the persuadable voters this time is there were so many people who just did not want this rematch. Now they've got something fresh. And look, people are going to say things like, well, Kamala, she was in the administration. The fact is, I've listened to voters talk about Kamala for a long time, and she doesn't have a particularly positive impression from swing voters. However, the main thing they say about her is they're like, I don't know what she does. I don't ever see her. What does she even do? Well, she has the chance to reset that narrative now. And I think by being energetic, by going on offense against Trump, by prosecuting a case against Trump, something Joe Biden had become incapable of doing, she can really turn this race around. And I think that you can just see the new energy in it. And that has got Donald Trump's campaign completely freaked out because
I bet
to run against Joe Biden, and now they're not.
Yeah.
Boom. That's very true. Let's see. We've got like a man on the street here. This is from Voice of America. They went out. They talked to some voters. We've got a completely new presidential campaign.
In Joe Biden's hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania, voter Eric Boylan says Democrats had little choice but to push Biden out.
I think he was a very good leader, but I do kind of also agree that his time has come and it's time to step aside and let somebody rise up within those ranks.
Voter Christine Stoll says if Biden is unfit to be a candidate, he should step down as president.
He should have dropped out a long time ago. He should leave the White House. He is not mentally stable enough to run this country.
Making Vice President Kamala Harris the nominee improves the party's chances against Republican candidate Donald Trump, says voter Daniel Brennan.
Harris polls well against Trump, so I think she has a real shot at winning. And I think he's doing the right thing right now, despite some people being so nervous and saying it's disastrous.
On a visit to Washington, Pennsylvania voter Bill Mills says Harris shares responsibility for Biden's economic failures.
We're noticing an increase in the price of groceries and fuel and the price of living, and our lives are worse now. And
the thing I always say to right-wingers is like, you're right. That didn't start under Biden. That has been good. The rent has been too damn high for a very long time. Shit been going up since the 90s, if you haven't noticed. This isn't a thing that Biden is causing. There's a system. Please understand what's going on.
Vice President Harris is riding on those coattails. So it's going to be very hard to shake that opinion when we have all witnessed an economic downturn in all of our lives.
In Michigan, voter Jason Potts says the switch gives the Democratic Party a chance to connect with younger voters.
I always thought we're just Biden time until someone a little more tenacious comes along.
You see what he did there? Biden time. Also, sweet Iron Maiden shirt.
And we'll see if that's Kamala. She's got more fire, definitely, and.
As Vice President Harris worked on controlling illegal immigration, Florida voter Christopher Rangill says her failure at the border makes her unqualified to be president.
Kamala's garbage. She's worse than Joe. Or they on the same page. They about the same. But I don't think anybody's going to vote for Kamala. No one wants to back her. She had one job. That was handling the border.
In Washington, voter Alicia Jefferson hopes people do not see the vice president only as a woman of color, but look to her accomplishments.
And I hope they can look past anything else and look at that. But the world we live in, that some people will and some won't. And I hope it's not enough people that stand away or use that as an obstacle for her to get in office.
New Yorker Andrew Varshavsky says it will be tough for anyone to beat Trump.
Even if Biden were to stay in the race, or whoever we have right now as a Democrat, that right now it's Trump's race.
There are several jobs to being VP. It's mostly ceremonial and going out and being a mouthpiece for the president on shit that's like not quite important enough for him to go and do himself. Him or her. Live longer than the POTUS. Also, and Harris had to do this several times, is be the tie-breaking vote in the Senate.
To lose. So I'm a
with a Merkin attack
for us to win this race, no matter what happens now.
Harris appears to have enough commitment from party delegates to be the.
I didn't even think about it that way.
Take next month's Democratic National Convention in Chicago to make her the party's official candidate to challenge Trump. Scott Stearns, VOA News.
So there's your man on the street. What them voters be thinking? The president has returned to the White House. We have been on
Biden dies of COVID watch.
I'm glad I saved that and didn't delete it. Yeah, you gotta keep. I guess when he stops being president, like, you know, I can delete it, but might as well keep it around anyway. Despite being on Biden dies of COVID watch, he has returned to the White House.
And now, Elizabeth, President Biden is on his way back to the White House. He has announced that he is going to speak to the nation tomorrow night. But do you think we could maybe see him or hear from him? Because as we're seeing a little action on the tarmac here, we were thinking that maybe possibly he might talk with reporters. We might hear from him. I know that
fair enough, Ponder Monkey.
Very close attention to what he looks.
That's the word. Holy shit! If we end up in a situation where Trump loses, I've said it before on this stream. If Trump loses, he is automatically the presumptive GOP nominee for 2028. So don't get it out of your head that you're done with Trump if he loses this year. He will continue to run the Republican Party for as long as he can, as long as he is alive. If we end up in 2028 and we've got a Trump-Biden matchup somehow, I will fuck.
like, how he's walking, how he's responding, because the last time we saw him coming off Air Force One, it didn't look good. And then he was isolated dealing with COVID. So I think we're not only eager to hear what he has to say, but also how he looks when we see him for the very first time. Let me start there, and then I do want to ask you about him meeting with Netanyahu. Also, he's not just giving a speech, but he's going to meet with Netanyahu, who's going to be here in D.C. And now we're learning Trump is also going to meet with Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago.
You mentioned that he eats like shit. Let me pose a question to you guys. So his official reason is that he eats fast food, predominantly like McDonald's. That's apparently his favorite fucking restaurant. But he likes fast food. Does he says it's because he can't be poisoned. Because, you know, you're mass producing the food. No one can poison him because they don't know it's going to be Donald Trump's Big Mac. But is it actually because he has the taste buds of a fucking child? It has nothing to do with being poisoned. Yes, if you are unaware, Donald Trump eats nothing but fast food. And apparently sometimes the taco bowls in Trump Tower. They've got really good taco bowls, I hear. Especially on Cinco de Mayo. The shit is indeed poison. But he says he does it so no one can poison him. Because he goes into McDonald's and gets a Big Mac. They're just driving through, getting Big Macs and shit for him. It is a miracle that he's still fucking alive. But also, we're paying for his health care now. So, goddamn. And he drinks Diet Cokes like water. But is it because he has the taste buds of a child? And it's not actually because... Because, like, here's the thing. If I was rich, if I had the White House fucking chef, there's no way I'd be eating goddamn McDonald's. Are you shitting me? I'd be eating good.
Go. All right, let's back up.
Sorry.
Trying to even see if the president is in.
Unknown. What's going on, my friend?
It looks like the motorcade there has pulled up, Kira. We've been waiting for
I've had several of my viewers say that.
schedule. But as you say,
I don't know if you're being facetious or not. I don't know if they're being facetious or not.
Since he has been there isolating from COVID. And I will say that we've just in the last hour have gotten a note from his physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor.
Ducky.
The president has now tested.
Oh, there he is.
President Kira walking out of
Exactly. We see him now for the first time since isolating there in Rehoboth. He's got a mask in his hand. All right, let's listen for a moment. They are shouting questions. I don't know if we can hear or not.
We all got microplastics in our dicks.
Looks like, Elizabeth, that possibly some folks there in the pool tried to. You've been in those. We've all been in those situations. Oh, wait, here we go. Let's listen.
Don't hear shit.
Trump, Mr. President.
Flash.
He probably didn't even hear it because it gets really loud when you're going up there. But here it is. That's that first image. As he slowly works his way up the steps and gets onto Air Force One there, getting ready to leave Delaware.
Venus didn't fall out of no coconut tree.
Here to D.C. for that big
Pork didn't fall out of no coconut tree.
Talked to reporters, but we saw him moving slowly. It'll be interesting to see how he does tomorrow night, Elizabeth.
Well, and Kira, what a moment. I mean, how much
Flash didn't fall out of no coconut tree.
The president board Air Force One just under a week ago. He first tested.
Joe Biden may have fell out of a coconut tree. I hope people start doing that shout out at concerts or something.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context.
I'm sorry, it's not the complete clip. I'm having a hard time finding the complete clip. The next part is the unburdened by what has been part. Which, if you, like, the quote makes sense at least. Like, it's saying something. It may not be as profound as what she thinks it is, but...
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
Now, apparently, hold on, let me. Apparently, this was, and this might be a longer clip. Okay, so this was actually found by the Republicans. The Republicans are the ones that found the clip that is now, endearing her to a wide swath of the electorate.
I don't know what. Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. Everything.
So yeah, the Republicans thought this was a good attack on her, and this is the clip that has endeared her to many of the leftists that are now in the coconut gang. You guys remember Andrew Yang? That dude that ran for president in the Democratic primary in 2020? I can't believe he's relevant. Andrew Yang is pushing for an open convention. Apparently he wants to sneak in there, see if he can be president.
Oh my gosh, Biden just dropped out from running from re-election.
If President Biden had not ended his campaign, Americans would have had 81-year-old Biden and 78-year-old Donald Trump as the country's presidential candidates, the same two we saw 4 years ago. The potential for Kamala Harris at the top of the Democratic ticket sparking a lot of reaction on social media.
With many rusty nails.
As a country.
Ducky.
So, okay, well, that's all I need. That's all I need, Mamala.
Former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang
Harris is 56.
A solution to this problem in a recent TED Talk.
Some of you may remember me as the math guy from 4 years ago.
Yang says it starts with open primaries, meaning you can vote for any candidate, regardless of how you're registered. In most states right now, you have to be a registered Democrat to vote in the Democratic primary. Same for Republicans. Registered independents can't vote in either primary.
The average American...
Also, I have to correct myself. I said the other day that I was happy to have a Gen X candidate. Apparently, Harris is not Gen X. She's like right on the cusp. She's like the year before Gen X. So she is technically a baby boomer. Apparently. And God, does that make me feel old?
Say to them, hey, would you like to be able to vote for whomever you want of any party in every election? They say, sure.
The next,
because I'm not that much younger than
voting. That's when you rank the
Kamala
in order of who you
want
apparently in office. If no one gets more,
apparently she is the last of the baby boomers. I wrongfully mislabeled her a Gen Xer. Oh, she's 59. She's 59. I'm sorry. 6'9". You can see how I get those mixed up, right?
Primaries, meaning you can vote for any candidate, regardless of how you're registered. In most states right now, you have to be a registered Democrat to vote in the
Democratic first
primary.
of the millennials.
Same for Republicans. Registered independents can't vote in either primary.
The average American, if you say to them, hey, would you like to be able to vote for whomever you want of any party in every election? They say, sure.
The next step in Yang's proposal is ranked choice voting. That's when you rank the candidates in order of who you want most in office. If no one gets more than 50% of the vote and your first choice doesn't have a chance to win, your vote will go towards your second choice. That's currently the system for local elections in cities such as New York and Boulder, Colorado, and in states like Alaska and Maine. Measures are on the ballot this November to adopt ranked choice voting in Washington, D.C. and 3 states, including Nevada.
The more people that can participate in elections, the better.
Mike Escobar
Goddamn
is a military veteran who served in the U.S. Marines and the Army National Guard.
Here in Nevada, our closed primary system prohibits 600,000 independents like me from voting.
He was featured in ads that ran in Nevada to encourage voters to adopt open primaries and ranked choice voting statewide.
Vote yes on 3.
He appealed to voters by saying,
here's the thing, if we have an open convention, Harris wins. Like, all the delegates go and vote for her anyway. Like, this idea of an open convention, like, it is. Like, they're going to go, they're going to show up, they're going to vote for Harris. As well they should. I've got no issue with it. Tones, good afternoon. I am the first of the millennial.
Unfair that many like him, tax-paying, registered independents, couldn't vote in the primaries.
We pay for the primary elections. We pay for the workers. We pay for the ballots. We
brother's a Gen Xer.
That it takes to run these elections, and a huge chunk of the population can't participate in that.
The biggest opponents to a new system, well, that may be the old system. The Democratic National Committee declined to be interviewed or offer a statement. The Republican National Committee said it rejects ranked choice voting and similar schemes that increase election distrust and voter suppression and eliminate the historic
I'm sure the Republicans
system.
I would say
disagree with
anyone
it.
who tells you it's too complicated and effectively you're too dumb to understand it, ask yourself what incentive they have to say, don't worry about it. And the answer to that is they want to retain their power.
There is a real solution to this situation. This works in just getting candidates that seem more aligned with what most people want. The top 4 candidates.
I absolutely wish that Joe Biden, because here's the thing, is people say that, like, they got cheated out of a primary, or, like, you know, the right wing is like, oh, like, it was fraud. They committed an insurrection against the primary voters. I wish there had been a primary, but it is very clear that Joe Biden wanted to run for re-election. It is very clear that Papa needed to have the keys taken from him, because Papa is way too fucking old. He shouldn't be driving the car. He shouldn't be running the country. Just... It was a good administration. They did good things. It was a step in the right direction. It wasn't exactly what was needed. I am a leftist. I feel that we need radical change in our system, but that's not possible with the electoral makeup that we have currently. And it's up to us to change the electoral makeup. I'm glad he's gone. I think Kamala is going to do a much better job. Have an open primary. I don't give a shit. Yang isn't gonna win. Bernie isn't gonna win. Bernie doesn't want to win. Bernie is absolutely. He probably has already endorsed Harris. We absolutely need a workers' party. Holy shit! Do we need a workers' party? I don't know. Other than through a union, I don't know how that forms. And strong union leadership like Sean Fain. O'Brien is being challenged now after everybody's jaws dropped when he showed up at the RNC. He is now being challenged by, like, the vice president of the Teamsters Union. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Of any party get through the general election, and then they are chosen via ranked choice voting.
Yang estimates it would cost $200 million to put open primaries and ranked choice voting on the ballot in 10 states, which could be enough to elect
senators. Good afternoon.
From both major parties. Compare that to the estimated $10 billion that will be spent on political ads in this election cycle.
You missed the speech, but holy shit, you would have been stoked on Kamala.
In time, I do.
He has optimism. Right now, 9 million Americans.
Have a good afternoon, Scott Comment.
Ranked choice voting. It has been used in 425 elections since 2004. This, according to the nonprofit Rank the Vote. And in November, measures to introduce or cement ranked choice voting and open primaries, they're on the ballot in Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington, D.C. But in Alaska, very interesting, there is a measure to repeal it. So we'll see if that gains momentum, especially after this very wild election cycle.
Very wild election cycle, indeed.
Still have a couple months.
Thanks for watching.
Shut up, Lester. Let's talk about some resignations. First of all, Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey, who has just recently been convicted of fraud. That's Senator Goldbars. He says he's going to resign next month.
Washington, D.C. and the United States Capitol regarding New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. Let's go ahead and go to CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian on Capitol Hill. Nicole, of course, we know the senator dealing with his conviction of corruption, bribery, wire fraud, obstruction of justice. What is that breaking news?
Well, the news is that New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez intends to resign next month, effective August 20th, according
Lester was to cancel Justin.
Familiar with his impending announcement. And of course, this comes as the senator was potentially set to return here to Capitol Hill today. Of course, the Senate has been out, but today would have been the first day back for senators, including Senator Menendez, which would have marked the first time since his conviction last week. Certainly important to remind viewers that the senator was convicted on 16 counts in a federal corruption case, everything ranging from bribery to extortion, a wire fraud, acting as a foreign agent, and other charges. And so these were all very serious, and we saw in the wake of that conviction a number of the senator's colleagues here in the Senate calling on him to resign. Others also suggesting they may move to expel him had he not resigned. So that is a significant development in that the New Jersey senator appears to now be making this decision to end his political career, which has spanned a decade, including 3 terms here in the U.S. Senate. But certainly the senator has made clear and did make clear after that guilty verdict that he still intended to fight the charges, and his attorneys believe that he will be vindicated.
And Nicole, hang on one second, because we are tracking multiple stories. We have Vice President Harris about to take the stage in Milwaukee.
New Jersey's a blue state, so if there's a special election, it's going to be a Democrat.
Andrews, and we are waiting.
The governor appoints the senator, then it'll be a Democrat because it's a Democratic governor.
Tomorrow to talk about his decision to step down. But Nicole, back to Senator Menendez as we continue to monitor those live.
Got you some toe beans.
August 20th. What is significant about that date? And do you feel like any of his colleagues in the Senate are going to push for him to step down sooner?
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, why the fuck would you wait so long? If I was just convicted on bribery charges, I would go ahead and resign. Pack my shit and get the fuck out of town. Go enjoy my freedom while I assume he's out on appeal. Or bonded out until sentencing, one or the other. He'll absolutely appeal it. So I can't imagine they won't force him out now, because they've already called on him to resign.
What the significance may be, other than that it's roughly a month from now. I would note that both chambers of Congress are set to be in recess by the end of this month. So in terms of any legislative business, for all intents and purposes, things are starting to wind down. But that being said, it is significant because that means that there will likely be a vacancy in that seat, one that the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, will have to fill. And he also has made
the governor fills it.
Did within the past week following Menendez's guilty verdict that he would and was prepared to make a temporary appointment. So we will have to see going forward kind of how that process plays out. And as I mentioned,
you slimy motherfucker.
Certainly a lot of pressure on the senator to step down. In fact, just this week we heard from the Senate.
Yeah, Murphy is a Democrat,
which had not only indicated that,
and apparently had been like one of the names early on floated as a possible VP, because, like, you know, we had our own suspicions. I was pushing for Andy Beshear. Several people like Roy Cooper, Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania. Some of the early names that we heard out of the apparently attributed to the Harris campaign were Whitmer and Murphy. And I was like, what the fuck?
Expediting its own investigation into the senator, but that it was now conducting a review into potential disciplinary actions, which could have included expulsion or possible censure.
I believe so, Venus.
There's also a question to look
I'm not exactly sure
as to whether or not, given the senator's pending announcement, whether or not that Senate ethics review will continue.
And so once Governor Murphy does pick a successor, that person would serve out the rest of Menendez's term through January. What can you tell us about this Senate race, though, for this seat and how competitive it is in New Jersey?
Well, and I think that's something else that we have to watch. Obviously, we don't have the senator's resignation letter in hand, but I think it's important to note that he had indicated that he was still going to run for the U.S. Senate, to try to run for re-election
as an independent
instead of a Democrat. He switched his affiliation to do that, or got a petition in order to do that over the summer. But certainly if he is stepping down officially in his capacity as a U.S. Senator, one would have to question whether he can still run.
This is his second trial. He was put on trial during the Obama administration.
We do know that right now, New Jersey Congressman Andy Kim appears to be the front runner in this U.S. Senate race. He is running for Menendez's seat and actually announced his candidacy in the wake of the
and he was like
against the Senate.
And nothing against
he feels that New Jersey needs a new representation.
Like a Denny's waitress, but that's who, like, he met a woman at like a fucking restaurant. She was his waitress.
He does face a Republican challenger, but that being said, certainly
I think they've turned on each other.
Democratic leaders feel that they can.
Her trial is like next month
in the blue column.
And we know that while he is appealing, his sentencing is October 29th. Nicole Killian at the Capitol, thank you.
October 29th. So Menendez intends to resign next month. Not the only resignation being announced today in Washington, D.C. The Secret Service director announcing her resignation earlier today.
Breaking news for you this morning. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle just resigned after the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump.
In an email to her staff this morning, Cheadle writing, quote, "I take full responsibility for the security lapse. In light of recent events, it is with a heavy heart that I have made the difficult decision to step down as your director." Just yesterday, Cheadle appeared before a congressional committee where she was berated by both the House Democrats and Republicans for hours.
You're full of today. You're just being completely dishonest.
Cheadle did take full responsibility for what she called the worst Secret Service failure since the 1981 assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan.
Cheadle initially said Secret Service agents were not put on the roof where the shooter fired the
resting Mace face.
It sloped, but a bipartisan group of lawmakers toured that rally site yesterday, and they didn't seem to agree with that reasoning.
They didn't seem to agree with that reasoning. Look, what was that? Is that just the Seattle accent?
Makers toured that rally site yesterday, and they didn't seem to agree with that reasoning.
I'm a 70-year-old man. This is where this roof is not a big deal. So for somebody to tell me that Secret Service agents couldn't been here,
this Trump hat.
Crazy.
We're also learning the president of the Butler Farm Show, which hosted that rally, reportedly says Secret Service agents came by to do a security advance on July 8th, less than a week before that rally.
You know, a congressional hearing that contentious, I'm not gonna not fucking show you the fucking highlight. Would you know, like, do presidents get to pick, like, their detailed? They gotta be like, I'd rather have these guys. Like, do they get to know, like, Secret Service when they're in the White House, and then get to be like, I want these to go with me. Like, I've formed a bond with these Secret Service agents.
15 shootings. whether this miracle.
I would assume that while you're in the presidency, it's like a huge contingency of the Secret Service, and then once you leave, it's just a handful, 2 handfuls of agents, something like that.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the right wing has focused on the woman that's in the picture with Trump, but it seems like the immediate Secret Service, they did what they were supposed to do. Maybe they shouldn't have let him stick his fucking head out and be exposed again, but they probably had word that the shooter was down already. So those Secret Service agents probably did their job really well, to be honest with you. It was whatever the, pre-planning team that was supposed to do sweeps of the area, whoever would have said not to put somebody on that roof. With so many goddamn guns in the country, it is kind of inevitable. But it is wild that so many people alerted the Secret Service beforehand and alerted the local cops. I don't think the shooter's dad was at the rally because I believe he called the cops, as I understand it. The shooter's family called the cops. They thought the shooter was at a gun range, had taken the AK or AR, whatever it was, and gone to a shooting range, and they called the cops as soon as they heard the news.
Or 15.
I mean, Marge wasn't wrong there. I mean, let's not king shame now. Who knows? Who knows what she was doing before that hearing? So remember, we're going to come on like 15 minutes early tomorrow night. Biden is speaking at 8 o'clock. Since it's a primetime speech, he's going to be right on time. So we're going to come on about like 7:45. Don't go anywhere. I got a fucking car chase for you. That's next on the order of business. We found out a little bit about what that news be doing. We will do a full episode here. Make sure everybody gets their money's worth. I'm starting to have police chases recommended to me on my YouTube now. It's that prevalent. Because usually it's just in the mix of everyday news, but now specifically it's shown me like, hey, this car chase happened 11 months ago. So we're going to watch this. I believe it happened in LA, as they usually do.
Something, a spike strip or something like that, but that only happens when it's a clear path.
There's a road.
Right. Can't do the pit maneuver either, so
Yeah.
it's just a matter of just tracking him and staying on his tail.
Right.
I hate that I see what Laura Loomer tweets more often than not.
Continue to pursue him.
That annoys the shit out of me.
Lane, which has remained fairly wide open at 6:28 in the evening, almost 6:30 in the evening, as this vehicle is just continuing to roll eastward. We believe it's a Mercedes-Benz, which does have some ability
In a Mercedes.
and accelerate.
We got tinted windows, so we can't really see.
Apparently a Mercedes-Benz C-Class. As you can see, gray in color, dark gray.
This happened last August. This is not recent. All the other chases I've shown you guys have been like recent.
If there is any specific information, clearly by calling these guys burglary suspects, that we know this wasn't just a random traffic stop.
Exactly.
You know, it wasn't a DUI or some situation like that. Obviously, they know a little bit more about this situation. Maybe that is why they tried to pull this car over. Wide open, opening much more so on the 210 eastbound. as they continue to move eastward now, 70, 80 miles per hour.
Yeah, the farther east you go, it just starts to open wide. Look at that. He is going now way over 70, 75 miles an hour now.
That largely hasn't been my experience in going east on the 210.
You know, it's always pursuits that they have the wide open roads.
We always say they defy logic in many ways, and sometimes it does defy logic when it comes to the traffic. They always seem to find a way through. Nevertheless, it doesn't necessarily mean the faster they go doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get away either.
You got up to about 85 there before he put on the brakes.
CHP vehicles can go just as fast and obviously faster than what they're capable of doing.
As we approach the 6:30 hour, our live coverage of this
is that a V8?
Continue.
Some of those come in V10s, don't they?
On ABC7.com. You can also watch it live on our website, and we're going to go to World News Tonight with David Muir on ABC7. Okay, we are streaming live on ABC7, this pursuit that happened.
This is not live.
I think it started about 25 minutes ago, started in Lakeview Terrace. We are now in the East San Gabriel Valley.
A straight 8.
Traveling eastbound, probably right now we passed Irwindale, so we are.
It's a
locator. I can let you know.
4-gear.
But we know that there are 3 burglary suspects in this Mercedes. And we don't know what exactly warrants might be out for these people, but we know that there are at least 3 people in this vehicle. And it's being pursued by the LAPD and switched over to the CHP, and that has been going on for.
I don't think I've ever been inside a Mercedes.
And this is Jory Rand joining the coverage here of this pursuit now eastbound on the 210. And as David Ono and Ellen, you were just talking about, it is shocking.
I had a friend that had a really old BMW. That's the nicest car I've ever been in.
Openness anytime we have a story in San Bernardino or Riverside, because
it's never when I'm driving on.
This is not typical. And you see the police overhead right there. Is that a sheriff's?
Yeah, especially for it's like 6 o'clock.
Keeping up with this pursuit right now. Last we saw.
Not now. This is not live.
Yeah, traveling.
But this was about 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Over to the shoulder of the road. He's just been weaving in and out of the traffic. But look at this; it's wide open, and it always amazes me, Jory. They're where do they think they're actually going to go? Because you have the helicopter overhead, keeping an eye on them.
Yes.
Right. We know there are certain circumstances where helicopters are not able to fly. If you're around an airport, anytime you're in LAX airspace.
Yeah, we lost a chase the other day.
Mountains, and one of the mountain passes. That's another possibility, but not really. There's nowhere to hide here on the 210. And often when we see kind of more urban settings, often a car will stop and passengers will get out and flee. That's not happening here on a freeway setting either. So however many people are inside of this car.
I mean, don't tempt him.
It is multiple people that they are pursuing suspects here, and we're not going to see them likely evacuate the car on the freeway. Although now we're starting to see some traffic pick up.
Yeah, it's picking up there. We are apparently Lone Hill Road. I don't know what locator it would be. Still East San Gabriel Valley, obviously.
92 and still run smooth?
But definitely slowing down a bit.
They don't make them like they used to. I can believe you can keep if you keep a 92 in good shape.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like the glass is too tinted, so at some point we might be able to get a look inside the windows there of that car. Often you can see how many people are inside. You can tell what kind of state they are in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wild movements, gesticulations, things of that sort. But
haven't thrown anything out of the vehicle yet. We often see that with pursuits. Wow, really slowing down.
Yeah, down to 35 miles an hour, and you see, I think that's a CHP officer right behind. When the traffic was a little heavier, pursuing officers were pretty aggressive in trying to keep up, and they're there right behind. You still see that CHP vehicle right behind this C-Class vehicle driving in. Is this still an HOV lane? Yeah, double white there, HOV lane. This is the carpool lane heading eastbound in the East San Gabriel Valley.
Just trying to sound it out there. Testiculations.
To see what happens here. This is not a very eventful pursuit, but I would say that's what law enforcement would like to see.
Probably better.
Yeah, you don't want to see some of the dangerous maneuvers. Here we go. Tinted windows on the side, so it is difficult to see.
Testicular fortitude.
Inside. Who is inside? If there's any kind of weaponry, what their state of mind is, state of behavior. And so we wait, now down to about 25 miles an hour.
And we really don't know if they're armed. We really don't know have much information.
I hope they're armed.
Well, at least we don't. Maybe they have more information on these people, but don't know if he's armed or if.
Want something to fucking happen.
People for sure.
And so, forgive me. What was the last freeway interchange that they have passed here?
Oh gosh.
Do we know?
They should be coming up on 57.
On the 57. Okay, so still.
What do you guys think? Should Justin make spaghetti, meatballs?
Before you start looking at.
I think they're on a helicopter towards you.
Which way they're going to go. So several major freeway options, but in the left lane, that will take some maneuvering to get across these lanes.
This is L.A., so the TV station can afford to have a helicopter.
Fuel this car has, how long this can go, where they're headed, and how committed these people are to getting away. If they're in this for the long haul, if they're just going to keep driving until the tank runs out or they try something, but there's really nowhere to go in this situation. This is just a relatively
that is the
slow speed pursuit, because last we saw was about 70 miles an hour.
Police airship
might have been interfering with that speed, but this looks like a pretty average speed pursuit here on the 210 freeway. Nothing too wild.
Not a high speed pursuit.
Eventually,
an average speed pursuit.
And heads out toward Palm Springs and Coachella Valley. So it's a matter of we just don't know if he has a full tank or not.
Right. Folks heading to Las Vegas know this route pretty well, or any in the eastern San Gabriel Valley and beyond. Rancho Cucamonga.
Sounds like the anchor knows that area pretty well. This is the way you go to Vegas.
And ABC7 reporters know well when it's even further you start heading towards Hemet and well beyond.
Yep. 70.
Made a salad last night.
Wow. Okay. That can't be right. Is he going 83 miles an hour? Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes the radar's a little hanky. I believe we have Chris Christie standing by. No.
Chris Christie.
En route. We should have
that fat fuck
here. Chopper 2, Air 7, another in our.
That wasn't nice of me.
And so we wait. It does look like speeds of.
Yeah, towards you. What kind of dressing you like?
Miles an hour here, according to Air 7. But again, this is what they want. This is what law enforcement wants. You don't want any crazy driving. Yeah. You don't want excessive speeds. You don't want weaving.
He was driving on the shoulder of the road just a bit ago, but. Yeah, but thank goodness it hasn't been erratic speeds, horrible driving. I mean, it's just been garden variety pursuit.
Yeah, you want uneventful. You want an uneventful chase. I can't tell. Is that another lane of traffic that they just pulled out of? I see it. It looks like a double yellow. Are we in the section of 2 lanes of carpool? He's in the carpool lane right now, but there's another lane that he's been crossing into. That is indeed the shoulder.
You make like a Greek salad?
To the shoulder several times. In some areas you see the double HOV lanes, but you can see there. Double yellow to the left in the carpool lane that driver is in right now, crossing.
Yeah, so I was getting ready to add some feta.
Number 2 lane if you're counting the HOV.
Will you put some pita chips in there?
Can we see what traffic looks like up ahead?
Roma tomatoes.
Continue on at this speed, or whether you think this will slow down here. Several cars here in the HOV lane and back onto the shoulder.
He's made it to the Claremont area now, so he's
cucumber, red onion.
Continue to go east. He'll be out in Azusa soon.
Yeah, and so we spoke a little too soon as far as uneventful. This is now driving on the shoulder.
Yeah, they get a little more desperate. They see that they're getting.
I'm already hungry. Why you guys gotta start talking about food?
It's got to be a little intimidating to think, where are you gonna go? We're nowhere to hide.
Blue cheese and poppy seed are my favorite dressing.
There's a officer right behind.
I like a variety.
They know they're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, and
as
approaching
this point,
Upland now, Inland Empire.
I like French.
It looks like a bit of dust kicked up.
I like Italian dressing.
Trailing from behind.
I really like Caesar dressing.
On the shoulder. There is a lot of garbage, dirt, dust, chopped up tires that are in there. So if you start talking about speeds,
I'm sorry. When did I start this?
Miles an hour on the shoulder.
You said you were going to make a salad. You started it.
And so now crossing back over into the HOV.
Blame me.
We'll have to see if he decides to stay on the 210.
Not going to gaslight me on my stream.
He could exit there. But
hey, Justin.
Right now, it looks like he's set on that carpool lane to the 210 East.
The Claremont Club. Okay, so in Claremont on the 210 here, Claremont Club.
I need to use my hamburger meat. I'd like to make a hamburger. I think that's what I would rather have right now.
Every time there's an underpass or an overpass, There.
But I feel like I should
It pops up for just a second. I keep trying to
use the hamburger and sausage I have.
We can catch this here and no, still too.
And make baked spaghetti.
Try and freeze frame that.
Cancel Justin, indeed.
Yeah. Okay, Claremont Club.
Headed toward.
Why'd you have to say that she was an older black woman? Why couldn't you just say a woman?
Yeah, Claremont Club is just that section of the 210.
Why'd you have to add black to it, Flash?
North and then straightens back out due east in Claremont. So we're approaching Upland here, Rancho Cucamonga in a couple miles, and obviously beyond that we're talking Riverside, San Bernardino, or San Bernardino, Riverside.
Right.
Fair enough, fair enough.
And so
talking about Georgia?
And
Georgia.
And it looks like traffic on this.
I've been to Georgia many times.
Hour, which typically you would expect.
Many more times than I would like to go to. Georgia is not a fun place.
It looks wide open.
That's not true. I've been to Atlanta many
Law
times.
enforcement is pulling any traffic brakes, traffic stops, or blocking some on-ramps, but it is
pretty
wide
slow.
open.
It sure does.
Yeah, that's a good, quarter mile ahead of this car?
Easily. Yeah.
Damn.
It's got wide open space. And
that'd be a really nice area if you didn't live right beside the fucking road.
if they did have a wide open space, could they even do it at this speed?
Yeah, you're talking about a serious risk of rollover
miles
and
an
flipping.
hour.
But again, I don't know if something just came off the car or whether that is just debris in the shoulder, but it looked like I saw a large piece of something. So I got
a large piece for you.
Do any kind of spike strips at some point? No, nobody's seen that so far. So this is just debris that it's kicking up in the shoulder. And at speeds of 86, pushing 90 miles an hour on the shoulder, you can see pieces flying of debris. You always often see chunks of rubber from tires.
Stone Mountain's over on the other side in Tennessee, isn't it?
And sometimes we've seen it is approaching some
Chattanooga.
I've often seen these suspects, throw stuff out of the car, especially if they.
Or is it in Georgia?
Evidence.
Oh, it's right there on the fucking line. I don't know where it actually. It might be like in both.
Yeah, you also wonder about a stray nail or a bolt.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Any kind of a large enough pebble can get in the tread of those tires and puncture. My family just experienced a punctured tire with a pebble this last week. Yes,
with a pebble.
At a high enough speed, hit at the right spot at the right time. You find a weak spot in the tire, it could happen. So it's still on the shoulder, right? Yeah, the pavement's throwing me off a little bit, but that is the shoulder.
What?
And closing in on the retaining wall there. But just straight going. So you have to wonder what these cars, the drivers of these cars that he's passing are thinking. You see a car zip by you at 85 miles an hour on the shoulder.
Yeah.
That in and of itself can be dangerous.
Do what, Libertad?
Dip off onto the shoulder just to look around the car.
You want people jacking off on each side of me?
90 miles an hour, and you're talking about some serious trouble.
Wow. Right now he's about 8 miles from the 15 freeway, so we'll have to see what they decide to do. But yeah, I driving on that shoulder is definitely.
I would get distracted.
Situation.
Yeah, could be problematic. And now in Ontario, on the 210, an unknown number of burglary suspects.
I think this is where we lost the chase last time.
And the car took off.
Because they went through Rancho Cucamonga.
Inside, what their state of mind is.
Ontario was where they were at.
Mind in general.
See? Oh my God, I called it.
And now pulling into some traffic.
Starting to have problems.
3 burglary suspects started in Lakeview Terrace, and now he's trying to weave in and out of traffic.
Yeah, we'll see if there's an exit here. Perhaps they're making their way over to the right lane to get off the freeway. You would think at speeds like this that perhaps an officer would step in and try and stop it, but with this many other cars around, it's not something you're going to really see them do.
He's like, oh, the cops get too close.
And right now it does not look like it does.
Oh,
And
there's
there
a
we
van.
are.
There goes
Yep.
that news van.
Yeah, so there's a good view right there. Hi, guys. Keep up the great work. See if you can keep up safely with what's going on here. We'll check in with you later tonight, but this continues with Highway Patrol in pursuit now in the number 4 lane. And again, we're waiting to see at Foothill Freeway if an exit is upcoming, but now we're crossing back over number 2 lane and back over into the HOV.
H to the Izzo.
It looks like we're about back up to 60 miles an hour or so in this pursuit, 72. And back up to speed.
My name is Hove.
A little bit, you wonder if that's just sheer distance or if that is the heat. But this is video from earlier of this pursuit.
Yeah, this is when he was really weaving in and out of traffic. This is back to the live shot, I believe, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Back on the live. So, yeah, he's approaching the 15, and it'll be the 2:15, and after that, the 10. So,
actually about 4:15.
We'll see what they decide.
4:19.
Now it's back to 90 miles an hour.
Got a minute?
Yeah. How long will we stay on the 210?
Rancho Cucamonga area now. So he's made a lot of, clocked some miles on this car.
Yeah.
And we don't know if this.
It is 4:19.
Heard any other information? Very little coming into us.
Yeah. Do we see?
In
plates?
30 seconds, please get your weed accoutrements ready.
Reflecting whether that's hitting the. Yeah, it looks like there's a plate on there.
20 seconds. It will be 4:20 on the East Coast in exactly 10 seconds. Technically, so am I, Flash. I should totally be doing some work right now. I like that I use this more than just on 420. Come up a couple different times now. What's up, Maynard? I got Maynard right here. Let me see if I can round you up a Maynard. That's a no. So I lay down in the bathtub like I have a shower. So I'm laying in the bathtub, the shower, like I'm trying to wake up. Fucking loves ham. That's like his favorite thing in the whole world. Any sandwich meat, really, but fucking ham. So I'm in the shower. I'm laying, the fucking water hitting me and shit. And he comes in and he gets in the shower with me, right? Multiple different, like he'll get in like this way, and then he'll get in like on the other side. And he got in, and he's never done this before. He got in between the curtain and me, so he's like next to me in the shower, but the shower curtain is between, like the water is hitting the curtain, but not actually him. Like he's shielded from like the water spraying on him, but he's down in the shower curtain. And then he'll go up and then he'll come out the curtain under the faucet where the water is not beating down on him, and he'll play in like the water as it's coming out. Weird fucking cat, right? So he keeps getting up and like going around, he's getting in and out and shit. And then finally, like, he just comes over and he's right now, like, fucking eye to eye with me because I'm laying in the bathtub. And he fucking goes to, like, clawing the shit like I'm a piece of ham right in front of him. Like, he's stuck to the shower curtain, like, swinging around on the curtain and shit, and, like, trying to get at me. And it is scary. You don't know how scary that fucking is, having a cat come at you like that. It's terrifying. No, I'm sure he's evil Venus. You don't understand. Like, he lives for chaos. He lives to fuck with people. Like, he does not want these other two cats to have a moment of peace. It was quite funny. Back to our chase.
So by now, law enforcement knows whether this is likely knows whether this is a stolen car or not. But onward we go.
Yeah, I always think about the people that are in the car with the suspect driving. You know, that's got to be a horrible situation.
No, he's the youngest.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting. We see, we have two choppers.
I got Smokey and Socks in 2016, and I got Maynard, and he was like 2
being left behind
in 2019.
This pursuit is starting to back up on the 210 eastbound, where we saw pretty free-flowing action here. 86 able to
free-flowing,
obviously on the shoulder.
Free-flowing action.
But at times it was just wide open. Behind what we're seeing on this camera, there is a pretty heavy flow of cars backing up. Because once you have a lot of cars pulling over when they see the lights. And
okay, that might make sense.
They're going to pull over. It's going to slow things down. And what was a pretty easy Tuesday commute looks like it is bogging down.
Exactly. And we do have Chris Christie in Air 7.
Chris Christie.
And Chris, do you know anything about these suspects?
Well, so far, I can only report what you guys have been talking about, but as we get a better glimpse behind
I would change my name.
Unfortunately, as I look at the situation from back here and also looking at our maps, the 210 really doesn't clear up for him. That carpool lane is a bit of a luxury right now, but really the main lanes are pretty steadily, you have seen a lot of volume for a Tuesday afternoon here, but of course we are in the prime of rush hour, so it doesn't completely surprise me. It makes a lot of sense, but obviously he has had a lot of luck in his way here, as he's had that carpool lane completely to himself. And the further east he gets, I can tell that there are more and more units.
It is the carpool lane.
And these are all, rest assured,
Hager called it the shoulder.
Highway patrol units at that. So they are getting ready for a major felony stop once these three eventually either run out of gas or give themselves up if they potentially make a run for it and foot bail. That's the
name is Ho.
There has been talk of a spike strip. Interestingly, you can see there's people that are actually streaming this and actually pulling over on that overpass there to catch a glimpse of this pursuit. But there was talk of a spike strip. that would be highly unorthodox, but as you guys know, we do see it occasionally from time to time when the situation and the circumstances are just right. You might once in a while
They're in the proper lane.
On the
But they've gotten over now.
doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
It sounded like the helicopter dude said there's 3 people in the vehicle.
Or with a lot less traffic, to say the least. But you can see here, as we get closer, the volume kind of breaks up a little bit, but he's still very much committed to that number 1 lane at about 80
weaving in and
miles per hour. So not extreme speeds, but certainly doing just over the speed limit at a pretty steady clip here. At times he was slowing down with traffic, but then once he sees a straightaway, picking up right up to 80 to 90 miles per hour, and here comes another slowdown in that number 1 lane. And as we look at it from this view,
most of them are also green vehicles now, right? You get to use the
a 6.
if you are a green vehicle.
A few more, closer to 8 to 10 units altogether in this pursuit. That's 8 to 10 behind him. The big question in my mind is how many are in front of him? Are they trying to create traffic breaks? Are they trying to meet up with him at entrance ramps or exit ramps up ahead here? You see this fake out that we've seen a number of times over the course of this pursuit as well. He'll get over to the left or over to the right where he sees an exit ramp, and then at the last minute swerves over the gore point as if he thinks he's going to lose those officers behind him. So far, he's
High
had
lane.
such luck and is just continuing.
You're getting high, you can also use that lane.
Law enforcement has all the time in the world to play these games. He only has a finite amount of fuel in that tank, guys.
Yeah, and you talk about traffic that's picking up, it becomes a bit of a moot point.
I've told you guys this story. When I was 19,
just decides to use
the cops.
where it is.
I was out in Western Kentucky, and the cops tried to pull me over. Like I was speeding, but like it was like a speed trap. Like I was doing like 60. It was a 55, and we went through like this little half a mile town, and it was 35. So the cops came after me. I take like the next road because I'm from Eastern Kentucky. You just go up a holler and then it forks and it forks and it forks. Cops don't ever fucking find you.
I don't know if you caught that, but a pickup truck.
You're welcome, not a country.
Lane and tried to pull over onto the shoulder, seeing the emergency vehicles, but not realizing that that car was using the shoulder as
almost, almost looked like.
I like to be a man of the people.
You certainly saw some erratic moves by that pickup truck, and now you can see, as you said, Jory, he is fully utilizing that.
Look, I tried to just take the next turn. You can see for miles in every direction. There was no getting away from him. My stupid ass.
You mentioned the spike strip. One of the opportunities they may have been planning for and may still be planning for is if he gets off at an
if you've got enough of a lead on him
across the main lanes of a freeway. But it's much easier when you get to an exit ramp where there's only 1 lane and maybe a shoulder to play with. If he shows signs of exiting, you could potentially set up at exit ramps up ahead, and then you have a much better shot of possibly spiking one or both tires. But in any event, you can see for now that appears to be off the window because he's all the way over in that carpool lane, weaving around anybody in his way and making full use of that left shoulder at a pretty high clip here. We'll go ahead and pop up the real-time speed tracker. I think we're still looking at triple-digit speeds now as he gets further east here into San Bernardino, where traffic is much more free-flowing. Very little slowdown from here on out. He could take this all the way out to the east and have nothing, really nothing hindering him whatsoever. But of course, the more he accelerates to triple-digit speeds, the faster he's going to go through the fuel in that Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, that car is moving. And you almost hope that driving on the shoulder at this kind of speed that maybe something there, a piece of debris, acts as its own spike strip. It won't have the same effect where what makes
they keep wishing that, like,
as you know, Chris,
it'll hit a piece of debris or something, but like it's the highway
for air to flow freely out of those.
People go 100 on the highway all the fucking time, I'm sure.
Happen with
when there's not a lot of traffic
or something, some kind of piece of debris in the shoulder that you would hope would inflict some damage to the tire, but you never know. I don't know how often street sweepers come through and clear those lanes, but I know driving on our local freeways, there is often a lot of debris.
Yeah, you're right about that, Jory. Run-flat tires can go a little bit further, but it would still hopefully have the effect of at least impeding the handling of the vehicle. The actual steering could change a little bit, and you could still see some benefit.
Oh yeah, the run flat tires.
Successful spike, but in any event, that's like I said, for now, still off the table. But the number of CHP units.
Oh fuck! Sorry. Did not mean to smack my microphone. Like the professional I am.
That will continue as they continue to hand this off to neighboring agencies. Last I heard, this was Baldwin Park, but I believe that some of these units by now must be Rancho Cucamonga units that have.
Are we going into another county?
And will continue this pursuit for a ways to go.
I love the name Rancho Cucamonga.
Now you can see we're getting much closer to this Mercedes-Benz.
What a name!
Tinted, almost illegally tinted, I would say, from my vantage point. Impossible at this angle to see through those windows. I am getting a lot of static in my ear. I'm not sure where that's coming from. If that's that might be you. Try UHF4. Let's just see. Stand by 1 second here. Still pretty bad. But anyways, guys, he now has that entire freeway.
I can't believe it's a real place.
By the way, are in a position.
Am I saying it wrong? Cucamonga?
I don't anticipate. They do have that California Highway Patrol helicopter right above it all, calling the shots. So that helicopter overhead is calling.
I want to go to Rancho Cucamonga.
Those units on the ground can then concentrate on just continuing the pursuit.
Rancho Cowabunga.
Without having to worry about a whole lot.
I probably am not wealthy enough to live in Rancho Cucamonga.
It becomes a much safer.
It is so funny. It sounds like something Bugs Bunny would say.
Open freeway.
Probably has said.
Not many other motorists in the vicinity. Then you have the opportunity to get a little more creative, and it looks like he's getting off.
This is 215.
Oh, he's getting off. No more edging.
Freeway. That's the 215, and he will have the option here. I believe he still has the option of going, southbound. Now he's committed to the southbound side. Something just flew off of that vehicle, or he may have just run something over. I saw some sparks there, but he is now committed to the southbound side of the
Branson, Missouri.
By the way, traffic remains relatively light here, but at least he's going to stay.
I went to Branson when I was in like 8th grade.
San Bernardino. He's not going to continue into the desert at this direction. He's going to go southbound on the 215 freeway. And maybe we'll start to figure out whether he has connections out here, whether he is familiar with this area, or whether he's just continuing this joyride along the freeway. But as long as he's on the freeway, that's where law enforcement would like to keep it. Guys, I'm going to hand it off to you for just a second until I figure out where the static. Oh, it might be.
Yeah, you got it.
That's just coming from.
You got it, Chris. Okay, so now 215 south. This now gives this driver the opportunity to head back into the LA metro area on a number of outlets, but anytime I see a car heading east like this car was, you wonder whether they're going to try and go up over one of the mountain passes.
Branson.
Helicopters might have some trouble making it up.
I can't do it.
You talk about elevation. Now, is this so? You might have just exited off of the 215. This is. No, it wouldn't be the 10. We're still too far north, I think, for the 10. This might be the 66?
He's just throwing out fucking numbers.
Okay, stayed on. And now coming to, now off of the freeway, this is at baseline.
He's at the exit ramp.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on Surface Street. He's making a left now on Baseline, going westbound on Baseline Avenue, and now maybe preparing to go the opposite way on the 215 freeway, doing a 180, and now going back northbound on the 215 freeway. And that's what I was starting to get at there. If we see these kinds of turns, it tells you, wait a minute, I'm not so comfortable. I don't know my way around here. Or my final destination is not going in the
final destination.
So for whatever reason, we're speculating, but for whatever reason, he's decided to go ahead and reverse course, get off the freeway, and now going the opposite way, northbound on the 215 freeway. Now, I would expect him to stay on the 215.
Don't forget, tomorrow night we're going to come on like 15 minutes early.
Because if he gets onto the 210, which he could do, then he knows he's in for some more traffic, and something tells me that this guy does not want to keep fighting that traffic that he's been fighting for the better part of the last hour or so. That's just a guess, but obviously he may have a destination in mind, and that might be taking priority. In any event, he's going northbound now on the 215 freeway towards the Cajon Pass. We'll see. A wild, look at them, cutting off that Mack truck. A wild swerve.
He might have ditched the cops that way.
Great move if you're trying to lose those officers, but there's nobody behind behind them.
Nope.
Make up for that last-minute move. Another wild left-hand turn through that, fortunately, green light. And now this pursuit, again, back on surface streets, taking on a more dangerous profile here. And now
here we go.
Expect a possible pit maneuver here if they see an opportunity. One has to believe that pit maneuver has been authorized by now.
You would think, and it almost looked like that pursuing officer thought about it and just kind of
he's going by a police station.
Once you see a vehicle like
and a bowling alley
pursued, take wild movements like that, you can feel the desperation and the danger ratchet up pretty quickly.
I don't think I will go to the bowling alley next to the police station.
Officer knew what was going on, realized what was happening here, and thought about it, but then just didn't have the situational go ahead to be able to pull that off. And now we are on Highland Avenue, back on side streets.
That was a slick move when he got off of the ramp.
Eventful pursuit, and that's what you want to see from.
There's a lot of fuckers on him.
Blowing through a red light, it just turned green, but you see people there. I don't know if that was a baby stroller or a shopping cart.
What?
You see people at intersections, and you have a car going this fast, Chris, you start talking about some real dangerous possibilities.
You've got innocent motorists left and right, pedestrians. What was an uneventful pursuit
to the right turn.
Very quickly become very eventful here.
Here
comes the pit right along the right fender there and spinning that Mercedes out of control, doing a full 180 and disabling.
No. Keep going.
Anything left in the tank there. He has come to a complete stop. He is now facing southbound, face to face with these 3 CHP units. Head on now with his hands and arms.
With 12 babies.
Out of the vehicle. It is over for him. He understands that vehicle wasn't going anywhere.
Wow.
And his time is up. The driver.
He gave the fuck up immediately. He's like, I do not want to die today.
Officers appears to be obeying the commands, but remember, there are 2 other suspects that we are aware of inside that vehicle. So a textbook pit maneuver to finish this guy off and end this pursuit.
Wait, go over and cuff him. You gonna make him crab walk back to you?
180.
Are you serious?
Immediately, they all jumped out, and the suspect fortunately gave up as they now attempt to detain the driver of that Mercedes-Benz. Again, we don't know.
Well, they left that dude on the dirt bike alone the other night.
A stolen vehicle. We only know that the original one was burglary. These are burglary suspects, as
asserting their dominance.
It appears
that's exactly what it is.
Sheriff now involved in this pursuit, as they appear to be taking over this arrest here. It looks like a number of different agencies, including.
Or do we have more people in the car?
Does that say ATF? I'm not sure. What does that vest say?
It says police.
It's just police.
It's
Okay,
LA
I'm sorry.
police, yeah.
I thought I saw. Yeah, I thought I saw something else.
I think it says Laverne.
It could be a number of different agencies, including Laverne, which is not too far away. Also, you've got Fontana and San Bernardino. In any event, you can see them still very cautiously pointing their weapons at that vehicle, about to approach it momentarily. They definitely can probably make out those other suspects by now, but again, through those.
So there are other people in the car.
But I would expect they will begin.
The one dude just popped out, was like, nope.
Using the PA system to give those orders for the passengers to one by one step out of the vehicle. What we're not seeing, by the way,
I don't see anyone else in there. Do you?
Doors open.
I
don't.
Yeah. I don't. These are obviously dark tinted windows, and we were told there were multiple suspects. But given how quickly the driver got out, Chris, I'm surprised that if there is somebody else in the car, that they haven't given up as quickly. It's rare you see. I mean, this was a driver who
somebody else.
Yep, somebody is in there.
Here comes the passenger climbing out of the back seat into the driver's seat, over the center console. Now, about to give himself up. Hopefully, here we will see. He may
fall out.
I'm not sure. He is collapsing out of.
There is somebody else.
And now another person visible in the passenger seat. So that would add.
Maybe a female?
There is a fourth, we don't know. But that passenger from the back seat crawling over the driver's side onto the pavement with his hands up appears to be cooperating as well. This would be suspect number 2 out of the back seat.
Why is Kanye? What's up?
And then one more person in the passenger seat who will be ordered out of the vehicle. But it doesn't appear, and you got to wonder why he didn't just come out of the back seat the good old-fashioned way by opening those doors, but for some
After about an hour,
maybe the child lock was on, who knows.
they were able to pull a pit maneuver.
Ready to order that third suspect who was sitting in that.
I loved my tinted windows.
And
double fives, yeah.
She intends on
they were totally illegal.
Coming out as well.
I worked for the radio station. I didn't give a shit.
You can see not much movement coming from that passenger seat, which is a little bit surprising.
Yeah, now you see the officers backing away, and I don't know if this is a case of someone being non-compliant or they're just kind of regrouping to assess what's going to happen here. But this person doesn't. You
got connections
inside, not making any motions
I'm going
to
put my
get
chips
out.
on non-compliant, and you can see that canine at the ready.
Yeah, now here we go.
That will be
Here
the
we
first.
go. We see some movement coming
go.
out now.
She is now thinking better of it and now coming out with her hands
It is a she.
up. Good for her, because that canine unit was ready to pounce the driver's seat of the vehicle if she didn't. And you can see, fortunately, it looks like this pursuit is coming to a peaceful resolution.
You got some awesome dreads.
The suspects obviously taking their time crawling out of the vehicle, but fortunately, all's well that ends well. Fortunately, nobody hurt over the course of this high-speed pursuit out of the San Fernando Valley. LAPD, San Bernardino, CHP, a number of agencies bringing this pursuit to a peaceful resolution.
Yeah, you have to imagine that it was made known that they have a canine unit there who they were about to send in if they had to, if no movement was made.
This was last August. This was not recent.
And then very quickly the decision was.
I've just become known for police chase now,
Chris, it's rare
and YouTube recommends them to me.
No, it's up. The jig is up.
Well, we've watched fucking police chase.
Gave up. You know.
Oh shit! Is there anybody else in the car?
Some kind of fight left in him. He had nothing left, and it was that's. You know, you'd rather not see a pursuit, but when it comes to an end, that's exactly what you want to see. It's over.
This was like last August.
Yes, literally and figuratively, immediately putting his hands in the air, because if he does,
So I have these for aftercare after we do political coverage.
Becomes dramatically questionable. So the first thing
Need to commemorate OJ. Is today OJ Day? I just recently rewatched The People versus OJ Simpson.
in the air, that's exactly what they were ordering him to do.
Well, they've got the helicopter, so they can broadcast police chases.
Once that inertia switch was flipped, that
We watched one from Milwaukee the other day.
disabling.
Holy shit! They T-boned that woman.
A full restart to turn the vehicle back on. Fortunately, that was not attempted, and he gave himself right up. And you can see uniformed and unmarked, plainclothes officers.
We watched a woman that was like in her panties.
Agencies, most likely bringing these suspects.
She got out of the car and like got her like homework out of the back.
Officer who pulled off the pit maneuver. We have seen many fail in the past. That was textbook, as you said, Chris. Perfect. You can see exactly where that car is lined up with the street lines. I mean, it was just such a perfect maneuver. It brought this to such a
perfect pit maneuver.
Lined up there, facing the opposite direction. Well done to that officer.
They shouldn't use pit maneuvers.
The CHP highlight reel.
We watched them kill a woman's baby.
Fortunately, what could have been so dangerous at the speeds that they were traveling and weaving through traffic. Again, when it was on the freeway,
is that the one I was talking about, Ducky?
Yeah. But once he got off the freeway, continuing those erratic.
They weren't like panties. They were like short shorts.
To take a deep
they were like boy shorts.
Just never know what
Underwear.
kind of miscalculation that driver could make, and how much more dangerous these pursuits become. And fortunately, they wasted no time right off the freeway, and within a couple of
Yeah,
minutes,
Libertad. Jinx.
took it, and a very well-earned steak dinner for him tonight, because we have exchanged some videotape of that pit maneuver now that we can
well-earned steak dinner
pit to end his day.
Yeah, that driver gets the win or the save, however you want to classify this in baseball. But
that's so dangerous, though.
Replay, just like they do in sports. Okay, so all clear here. Can't see that enough. Great job.
I wrote that. I wrote watch my stupid shit.
Chris Christie, thank you for hustling.
I did not write tell us how you troll.
This coverage, invaluable, and we thank you for this, and we'll see you at the next one, I'm sure.
You got it.
See you at the next one.
That's right.
Well, before we get out of here, we'll take a look at the news. We'll see if that news been doing anything. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7:45. Biden is speaking at 8 o'clock. He's going to be telling us why he decided to step down from the presidency. We watched Kamala speak about an hour ago. Maybe a little over an hour ago. I thought she knocked it out of the park. But she did a fabulous speech. But once again, it could just be the... What do you call it? The... Because of the low expectations. I feel like they're just saying something high, blah, blah, because of low expectations. I'm drawing a blank. Ooh, here we go. This is the kind of shit you guys fucking love. No, you don't. Why am I like this? Florida kid got a really horrible birthday present. New segment here on the Troll Patrol. What the fuck is going on in Fort Lauderdale?
Chilling calls for help after a 3-year-old is shot during a birthday party at this Fort Lauderdale park.
Please, I'm at Riverland Park, and a baby just got shot. We're at Riverland Park. Okay, we're at Riverland Park.
Riverland Park.
Identifying the 3-year-old as Rilo Yancey.
I couldn't get it out.
Fire during a drive-by shooting just after 4:30 Sunday evening. After being rushed to Broward Health Medical Center, he was pronounced dead. Family members grieving outside as the devastating news was confirmed.
My heart has been broken to see this and to hear about a child, innocent child that knows nothing about nothing, just in here out there enjoying the birthday party, and then all of a sudden this happens.
Those who walk through Fort Lauderdale's Riverland Park are baffled by the horrific crime. Police finding a vehicle involved in the shooting, but the suspects remain on the run.
A child was shot, innocent, and had nothing to do with whatever you had going on. There are better ways to handle situations than picking up guns.
Balloons left behind at the crime scene, along with questions about who opened fire and why.
My heart goes out to the mother.
They wanted to shoot somebody, I assume.
So I know how it feels. It's very sad, because we walk this community every day and never hear this.
Anyone with information should call the Fort Lauderdale Police or Broward Crime Stoppers. In Fort Lauderdale, I'm Chris Hush, NBC6 News.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
Shut up, Lester. Well, I guess since we're here, we might as well do it, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's do more news. Let's buckle up, buggeroos. First we're gonna go to Chicago, where just another day. This shootout involves the cops, apparently.
Well, good afternoon. Right now, it is still unclear just how many suspects the Chicago Police Department is still looking for in connection to this attempted carjacking here early this morning. But it does appear that those involved were also involved with several other robberies in the area. 5:30 this morning, a camera on a home in the West Beverly neighborhood captures a dark-colored car speeding down the street. Not long after, at least 3 volleys of gunfire can be heard. After the shooting stops, you see who is believed to be a suspect running from 108th and South Campbell. The crew had just tried to carjack an off-duty Chicago police officer.
Luckily, the off-duty Chicago police officer is okay.
The car was shot up and evidence markers were all over South Campbell Street. The alderman stressed the officer has training to deal with armed suspects and most do not.
This could have been a nurse headed to the hospital to work a shift. This could have been a young teenager with a summer job. And this could have been a very different outcome. And if you ever do find yourself in a situation where you are
communism in this economy,
hand over the car, hand over the purse, hand over your wallet, hand over your cell phone. We're lucky that this police officer is okay this morning.
This area is home to a large population of Chicago firefighters and police officers.
This is just another reminder to all of us. I don't care what neighborhood you're in. Be aware of your surroundings. When you walk out, particularly,
you've got Coconut Head.
Look up and down the block. See what is around you.
Alderman Matt O'Shea, who represents this ward, says he knows the officer involved. O'Shea says the officer has about 25 years on the job. He's a family man who coaches kids' sports teams.
He's a good person. He's a good police officer. I'm just glad to hear that he...
Listen, I know cops, and you should probably keep them away from children.
From where the shots were fired, it's believed to have been stolen in Lansing and used in a number of other crimes. O'Shea says more than one suspect involved ran from the scene. Police are hoping more people with cameras on their homes in this area will be able to help identify suspects.
People fled on foot through backyards, down alleys, down streets, looking to make their escape. Look for anything suspicious. That early in the morning, the only thing that should be in your backyard, your alley, is a neighbor or somebody walking their dog.
Now, the alderman says that video could prove to be crucial in investigating this case. We're live in West Beverly. I'm Eric Rung, WGN News.
Speaking of videos with videos of police, body camera footage released in a shooting that we covered. When did it happen? July 6th is when it happened, so that's about 2 weeks ago. We covered the shooting, but now the body camera has been released as of yesterday afternoon. Play for me. Here we go. This happened in... First of all, I need to hit the content warning. Happened in Springfield, Illinois. Sonia Massey ducked and apologized to an Illinois sheriff's deputy seconds before he shot her 3 times. She's the one that called them for help. Apparently, she is a paranoid schizophrenic. She thought somebody was outside of her home.
What do you want help with?
When I read the details on stream a week or two ago, whenever we did the story, she had a pot of water. That's all she had. I remember saying that.
What do you want help with?
I heard somebody outside.
Yeah, we checked your house. We checked your backyard. I walked all the way through all these backyards. We checked your front yard.
But you know what I want? I want justice for my baby. Yeah. Yes, sir. You killed the wrong black woman this time. Amen. Amen.
What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to attach.
Massey.
Huh?
Massey.
Yeah. You have an ID? That'd make things so much easier. I just need just a driver's license will do.
But I want to tell y'all, the sheriff is here is an embarrassment. Because this man should have never had a badge. He should have never had a gun. He should have never been given the opportunity to kill my child.
I don't know where my ID is.
You got in that stack right there, maybe?
Let me see your tattoos, sir.
Second.
Just check on her. We don't need a fire while we're here.
Right. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
Rebuke you in the name of
You better not. That's where I got. I'll shoot you right in your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot!
man had 2 convictions for DUI. He had a conviction for driving under the influence. And he was a member of law enforcement? My Lord. What an embarrassment.
Yep.
Embarrassment to this country.
Yep.
To this county.
Wanted to see if I could help me.
It doesn't make any sense. Why did they even go into her house? I don't know what the tattoo was. I thought it was sus looking, though.
You had in that stack right there, maybe?
Is that what you're talking about?
1 second. I don't know where my ID is.
You had in that.
And with a wolf, with some kind of Nordic fucking symbol, yeah, that seems really sus to me.
That stack right there, maybe?
1 second.
Just check on her.
Let me get this.
We don't need a fire while we're here.
Right. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Huh?
I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
You better not. I swear to God, I'll shoot you right in your face.
Okay.
I don't know what I would say if someone told me that they were going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus, but it wouldn't be, you better not, I'll shoot you in your fucking face. That is not the thing I would say. That's just me, though. I don't know about you guys. I feel like they were joking around. She was joking around. I don't know exactly what was going on. But, like, they just turned in a moment's notice. And she apologized. She put her hands up. There's nowhere. She has boiling water. I don't even know if it was boiling. She said, I'm sorry, and put her hands up. And they still shot her. Absolutely insane. An Illinois grand jury indicted former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, 30, who was white last week. He's pleaded not guilty to charges of first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a firearm, and official misconduct. The video confirmed prosecutors' earlier account of the tense moment when Grayson yelled from across a counter at Massey to sat down a pot of hot water. He then threatened to shoot her. She ducked, briefly rose, and Grayson fired his pistol at her. Authorities said Massey, 36, had called 911 earlier to report a suspected prowler. The video shows the two deputies responded just before 1 a.m. on July 6 at her home in Springfield. They first walked around the house and found a black SUV with broken windows in the driveway. It took Massey 3 minutes to open the door after the deputies knocked, and she immediately said, "Don't hurt me." My God. She seemed confused as they spoke at the door, and she repeated that she needed help, referenced God, and told them that she didn't know who owned the car. Inside the house, deputies seemed exasperated as she sat on her couch and went through her purse as they asked for identification to complete a report before leaving. Then Grayson pointed out a pot sitting on a flame on the stove. "We don't need a fire while we're here." Massey immediately got up and went to the stove, moving the pot near a sink. She and Grayson seemed to share a laugh over the pan of steaming hot water before she unexpectedly said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." "You better fucking not, or I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you in your fucking face." He then pulled a 9mm pistol and demanded she drop the pot. Massey said, "Okay, I'm sorry," in Grayson's body camera footage. He pointed his weapon at her. She ducked and raised her hands. Grayson was still in the living room, facing Massey, and separated by a counter dividing the living room and the kitchen. Prosecutors have said the separation allowed Grayson both distance and relative cover from Massey in the pot of hot water. After Grayson shot her, Grayson discouraged his partner from grabbing a medical kit to save her. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. There's nothing you can do, man. He added, what else can we do? I'm not taking hot fucking boiling water to the fucking face. Noting that Massey was still breathing, he relented and said he would get his kit too. The other deputy said, we can at least try to stop the bleeding. Grayson told responding police she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came at me with boiling water. During a Monday afternoon news conference, the family's lawyer, civil rights attorney Ben Crump, called Grayson's revisionist justification disingenuous. She needed a helping hand. She did not need a bullet to the face. Asked why Massey told Grayson, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, Crump said she had undergone treatment for mental health issues. He noted that she invoked God's name from the beginning of the encounter and asked for her Bible after the deputy stepped inside. During Massey's funeral on Friday, Crump said the video, which he and the family had already viewed, would shock the conscience of America. Massey's father, James Wilburn, demanded the county court system be completely open with its investigation and prosecution and transparent with the public. The only time I will see my baby again is when I leave this world, Wilburn said. I don't ever want anybody else in the United States to join this league. Grayson, who was fired last week, is being held at the Sangamon County Jail without bond. If convicted, he faces a prison sentence of 45 years to life for murder, 6 to 30 years for battery, and 2 to 5 years for misconduct. His lawyer, Daniel Fultz, declined to comment. In a statement, President Joe Biden said he and First Lady Jill Biden were praying for Massey's family as they face this unthinkable and senseless loss. This, I hopefully we get another summer of fucking protest, because this is a tragedy. The AP bringing up a story from a few months ago that I wonder how it didn't spark protest. In May, a Hispanic Florida sheriff's deputy shot and killed Roger Fortson when the Air Force senior airman opened the door of his home in Fort Walton Beach, armed with a handgun pointed down. The deputy, Eddie Duran, was fired. That happened in May. I don't know how that didn't spark nationwide protest. Has Eddie Duran been prosecuted? Since the AP story leaves that out, I would assume that's a no. But we can hope and we can search. He was fired only on June 1st. Still not seeing that he's been charged. I feel like we need some mass protest in this country because shit is fucked up. We're going to go to Memphis, where apparently 2 security guards were involved in a shootout.
Responded to a shooting at 7219 Appling Farms Parkway, which is the main event.
This is like, I don't have words to explain this because I always come here and this has never happened.
The individuals involved were security guards.
Yeah, Fox 13 has some new information on a security guard who police say
he's got a coconut head.
Another guard at the main event on Appling Farms. It all happened right in broad daylight.
And look, in the last hour, we've learned the name of the guard charged and also The fact that he didn't currently have an updated license. Jeremy Pierre joins us with more at the main event.
The main event.
The last 15 minutes or so, Memphis police confirming the name of that security guard charged with the murder of another security guard here at main event yesterday. Richard Lewis. Richard Lewis is his name. He's charged with first-degree murder. We have also learned within the last hour or so, Richard Lewis, his security license, both from 2017 and 2019, are expired with the state of Tennessee. As a matter of fact, that most recent security license expired in 2021. Now, that's all coming from the state of Tennessee. We've been able to verify that with the state. Now, here's the thing. We do know yesterday that an argument turned into a fight turned into a deadly shooting, and sadly, a security guard, one of his co-workers, losing his life. Now, of course, we're still working this morning to gather information on the victim who sadly lost his life, but Richard Lewis is the man charged with first-degree murder in the death of that security guard here at Main Event. This is a place where people come to have fun. Kids come during the summer. Adults even come here to enjoy.
Ain't no fun when people getting shot.
Bowling, also pool, laser tag. But yesterday, that fun cut short.
It's very concerning. I know there's been a lot of crime lately in Memphis, and it's starting to spread even to the nicer areas.
Lately in Memphis?
And so, yeah, it's very concerning, especially when you're out just trying to have fun. And
Memphis is one of the least safe cities in the United States and has been for a very long time.
Richard Lewis, he's not, he doesn't have a bond set. Of course, he has to face a judge first, but we're still working to gather more information in this specific investigation.
I've been to fucking Memphis.
A statement from Main Event, also learning of the security company the two men worked for. Now, of course, we want you to stay with us all throughout the remaining hours of Good Morning Memphis. We've been learning quite a bit of information throughout Good Morning Memphis, so stay with us. We're going to continue to keep you updated both here on air and online at fox13memphis.com.
That's a crazy situation. Jeremy Pierre, appreciate the update from the main event.
The main event. Violence is spreading from Memphis. Bagheera, of course you would say that. Makes perfect sense to me. Go to New Jersey. Apparently, this might have happened yesterday. We get a tractor-trailer explosion.
Natalie Pasquarella, let's get right to the video. The crash and the explosions happened this morning on Route 3 in Clifton between Valley Road and Grove Street. It
might have been this morning.
It snarled traffic for hours. We have News 4's Adam Harding live in Clifton with what we know about how it happened and some damage to the homes nearby, Adam.
Natalie and David, this was an unbelievable scene that has shut down Route 3 in both directions. It has remained shut down now for several hours. I want to step out of the way and show you the damage here. This neighborhood, of course, so close to the highway. You can see where the truck that caught fire, then exploded, hit a barrier wall. Tonight, we know the 55-year-old driver did not survive. Nearby homes forced to evacuate.
Oh!
Cell phone video capturing the jaw-dropping explosion this morning on the eastbound lanes of Route 3. Now take a closer look from another angle. A firefighter coming within feet of what appears to be a barrel on fire that was sent flying.
Oh my Jesus!
Heard a big, loud, crash and look up and it's all in flames.
Suvi and Anoop Patel sent running from their nearby home to safety. Their yard backs up to the highway.
You could feel the heat. Literally, I thought the hairs on my legs were going to burn off.
It's just scary because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's next. We don't know if it hit the gas lines. We just ran in, got our dog, and left.
It happened just after 9 a.m. Investigators say the box truck was rear-ended by a bus. It slammed into the barrier wall, then exploded. The prosecutor's office tonight confirming the 55-year-old driver from Linden did not survive.
The truck had placards on it, from the best that we could determine, that said it was carrying a corrosive and explosive chemical.
Fire spread into the storm drains.
I bet.
The backyards of some of the houses, at least 3 houses here on Normandy, were damaged by fire.
TJ Cherry is among those forced out.
I had a contractor upstairs doing some work.
OMG.
And he come down and start knocking on the door. I thought it was him making all the noise. He goes, no, fire in the back. So he goes, get out. And next thing I know, the firemen and policemen are here. Get out, grab the dog, and out the door I went, and the other explosion happened. It almost pushed me down the stairs.
The crash shut down Route 3 in both directions. Investigators now working with the DEP. It's not yet clear what the truck may have been carrying.
It's just scary because we don't know what's going to happen.
Neighbors tonight still stunned, but thankful for the barrier walls along the highway, which they believe kept this tragedy from becoming any worse.
It would have been a lot scarier if we didn't have that wall. It would have definitely been in our neighbors, like our friend's backyard. Thank God that wall was there.
And no homes sustained major damage, but certainly impacted by those intense flames, which neighbors say were so high they were shooting over the tree line here.
God
and
damn.
those trees run quite high up against Route 3. It is still not clear when the highway will reopen, and we just got an update a short time ago from the Department of Environmental Protection here in New Jersey. They say initial air testing shows everything is just fine, though there is still some testing going on as some liquids and fuel have made their way down to storm drains. Much more throughout the evening. We're live in Clifton. I'm Adam Harding, News 4, New York.
Wild video, though. That's what I'm here for. That's what I bring you. The most absurd news, politics, current events on the internet. Let's go to Ethiopia, where the last few hours, I think this morning our time, probably like this afternoon their time, landslides killed at least 230 people that we know of. At least. Someone desperately trying to dig. Are there people under there? Because why are you walking on that shit then? Go to the BBC, get some more reporting.
Are believed to have died from 2 landslides in southern Ethiopia. The landslides occurred on Sunday evening and Monday morning after heavy rains in a remote mountainous area. A local official said that rain was hampering rescue operations and that the search for survivors was continuing vigorously. Well, let's speak to our correspondent in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, Kalkadan Yevatal. Kalkadan, in terms of the death toll, it is rising fast. So what are the authorities saying?
Yes, it's indeed rising fast, and initially the first figures that came out today around the morning was around 55. Later it grew into 146, and now the latest figures that we have is 229 people that are confirmed to have died. And now these are the bodies that have been retrieved from the mud by the...
Don't say that kind of shit, Ponder Monkey. You'll make Bagheera blow a gasket.
Search and rescue efforts are currently underway, and they're being hampered by the topography of the area, as well as heavy rain that's happening. And these are 2 separate landslides. The first one happened on Monday, and it was a rather relatively smaller one, and many people from around the area, including members of the local community, the members of the police force, and including others, including teachers, were gathered there to rescue people who were trapped in the mud. And as it turns out, on the next day, another landslide occurred, and then more people are believed to have died. So
landslide. landslide brought it down.
Still underway, and then the local people are desperate for more support to come for them to try in their efforts to try to find people alive and even to retrieve bodies that are buried in the mud.
Yes, exactly. On that point, we were seeing pictures of frantic rescue efforts, but a lot of that work being done by hand. Has any heavy lifting equipment been able to get to these areas given the difficulties?
So far, that doesn't happen. That's our understanding. And speaking to local authorities as well as the residents there, what they told us is all the efforts so far have been manual. They were trying to dig the mud using handheld tools. And that's not going to be very effective and efficient in their run against time. So they are calling for more support, and it seems that the government and other aid agencies are trying to galvanize and mobilize efforts. So we will have to wait and see how things are going to turn up in the coming hours and even days. But so far, what they're struggling with is using their handheld materials, handheld tools, and using their own manual labor by digging the areas there.
Kalkadan Yibtel there in Addis Ababa. Thank you for that update. Thank you.
Thank you. See, that's all they got. That's how you know, like, the ride is completely bereft of anything. They're just like talking about her laugh. That's all they're focused on is Harris's laugh. And that's just absurd. A home invader tried to attack some children. He fucked around. He found out.
The father is sharing the terrifying moment someone broke into his home and attacked his children. And let's just say Dad made the suspect regret that decision.
Big time. Police say the suspect is in custody and will be charged. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias has the story.
Bent around, ducked down, looked, and then just rushed through the door.
Bobby Tucker says a stranger who was screaming and growling came into his home and attacked two of his children around 5:30 p.m. Thursday.
He attacked my 14-year-old son from the back. He jumped on him, choking him out to the ground. And then he moved on to my 11-year-old. When I came out, he was standing about right here over the top of my son.
Tucker, who works as a security guard, says he was in the back of the house with his youngest son when he heard the commotion. He rushed out from his hallway and saw the man hitting his 11-year-old son.
I admit I blanked out for a while. I probably scared my kids too, because I just kept hitting the guy, and I could hear them saying, "Someone call 911."
Citrus Heights police responded within 5 minutes and took the man into custody.
He was out cold, unresponsive. The paramedics tried to get him to wake up and respond.
Great, I tell you good afternoon.
Police aren't releasing the man's identity yet and can't say if he was on drugs or had mental health problems. The father of four says his door was unlocked at the time because his children had just taken the trash out. He later posted these photos of the man, one of him entering his home and the other with him being taken out on a stretcher.
The other of him leaving his home.
Tucker says he wants this to serve as a warning to other homeowners.
Definitely get you something inside your home to protect yourself, whether it's mace or a firearm.
The father of four says his focus now is getting his sons through the trauma of being attacked.
Looking into try and get them at least a little bit of therapy so they can talk about it and not be afraid and scared. Because your home is
this dude's awesome.
You're wearing.
In Citrus Heights, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Those kids got an awesome dad. Look, and that dude's cool as fuck. Here's one for you. I don't even know how to introduce this one. Content warning. Involves a dude trying to meet up with a teenager to have sexual relations.
Sandy police are sounding the alarm on teens taking justice into their own hands.
This after a mother of teens confronted a man.
That's not the problem.
A teenage girl money in exchange for sex. The teens shared this video of the incident on social media. News specialist Garna Mejia has the details.
Yeah, Deanie. Well, Sandy police tell me that this remains very much an active investigation into the suspect, but they're also concerned about, like you mentioned, the way that teens handled the entire incident, saying that they put themselves in danger and also may have compromised evidence in this case.
What you here to do, bro?
This video now part of an active investigation into 49-year-old Bryce Stephen Ray, accused of offering a 15-year-old girl up to $700 in exchange for sex.
16-year-old girl?
The video, we've blurred the faces of several minors, was posted on TikTok. The incident happened in the parking lot of Southtown Mall in Sandy. According to Sandy police, Ray connected with a teenage girl on Snapchat, but instead of the girl, he was met with the boys and their phones.
In the call narrative, it says a mob of about 20 people were chasing after a man.
Ray allegedly told the girl he'd bring $350 and pay her the rest from a Cash App. Detectives later found a check for $360. Sergeant Greg Moffitt says this is just one piece of their investigation into Ray and whether there are other victims.
There's a lot of digital evidence that our detectives will be working through.
In another video, the teens posted KSL's article on the arrest and a clip where they kick the suspect. Their involvement is raising some red flags for Sandy police, particularly the teens' motivation.
And if this is going to start some sort of trend through social media, I would like to say let's nip it in the bud now, because there is so much that goes on.
This Jordan Peele.
Especially concerned about the teen's safety, including the victim.
I'd be really upset if some of my daughter's friends decided that they were going to put my daughter out as bait. And that's what it's referred to in one of the videos. Here's our bait. The best thing you can do is be a good witness and get as much information as you can and then contact.
That's what I was getting ready to say. If this was organic, then like I've got nothing against it. But if they're trying to run some sort of channel, I think those dudes are like doing entrapment and shit, and those are kind of disgusting. And I don't trust them to actually find real pedophiles. I don't believe any shit you see on the internet.
Get the car.
Now, Ray is being held without bail at the Salt Lake County Jail. He's charged with enticing a minor and solicitation of a child. Now, each of these two counts carries a sentence of 1 to 15 years in prison if he is convicted. Deanie?
Garna, thank you.
Wait a minute. What'd you agree with Bagheera on? Yeah. Like, I see a lot of those channels. They feel very they don't feel right to me. I don't think that's something people should be engaging in. Trying to do the try to catch a predator, how to catch a whatever the fuck that shit is. Chris Hansen shit. It ruined Chris Hansen's life. Chick-fil-A has been dethroned. Has been dethroned as America's best fast food restaurant, a new report says. I don't know what replaced it. Deboned. Chick-fil-A has been dethroned as America's best fast food restaurant, according to USA Today. The Atlanta-based fast food restaurant was crowned number one on the publication's 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards for 9 consecutive years. However, this year, the restaurant dropped to number 3. Oh, shit. With a surprising twist, Mexican chain Del Taco was voted the best fast food chain of 2024. Second place was KFC. KFC? Have they changed KFC since the last time I was in one? Because I thought KFC went down in quality in the last 20 years. Are you fucking with me? And when I was staying with Puzzle Bitch, he ordered one of those, the one with the chicken as the sandwich, as the chicken breast with the bacon in between it and shit. And I was like, no, ooh, no. The double down. I've never had Del Taco, I don't think. There's always the possibility that I've had it and I don't remember, as with Bojangles. I thought KFC had gone way down in quality from when I was a kid. I was under that impression. Yeah, there's so many better chicken sandwiches than KFC. There's so many better chicken places. Number 10 was Arby's. I find that fucking hard to believe. Number 9 is Zaxby's. That's a personal favorite of mine. I have fond memories going to Zaxby's after I got high with my friends in college. And I really like Zax sauce. Make my own now. Popeyes is number 8. Taco Bell is number 7. I can't believe Taco Bell is not higher, because Taco Bell is like, everybody likes Taco Bell. OMG, it's a list of fast food restaurants. Of course Taco Bell's on it. Just because you said that, Bagheera, weed is bad, my ass. Bagheera's like a hate watcher, guys. And we love him for it. Captain D's is number 6. I didn't even know Captain D's were still in business. I had no idea you could still go to a Captain D's. This is an 18 plus stream, Bagheera, and I get content warnings. I'm not made for children. I didn't know Captain D's was still a thing. Hardee's is number 5. Now, I haven't had Hardee's in a while, but I was always fond of it. You get a really good burger at Hardee's. Number 4 is In-N-Out Burger. I've never had an In-N-Out Burger. That's a California thing, right? Number 3 is Chick-fil-A. Number 2, KFC. Ooh, hot ham and Swiss at Hardee's, yes. Holiday. I was blown away by the fact it's called a Carl's Jr. elsewhere. Del Taco, this popular taco stop which serves all kinds of satisfying Mexican fare, including burritos, quesadillas, and nachos, also offers burgers and fries. In addition, Del Taco has a dedicated breakfast menu as well as a vegan and vegetarian. Where the fuck is Del Taco at? I've never even seen a Del Taco. Show me where Del Tacos are located. Apparently, they're down in Georgia. Had no clue. You can get some Del Taco in Florida. I had no idea. Vegas, baby. Smash. Good afternoon. So Del Taco is your number one fast food chain in the United States, according to USA Today. Unseating Chick-fil-A, which has won the honor for the last 9 years. We're still on the food train. You like mac and cheese? Apparently, California Pizza Kitchen is giving away mac and cheese at half off.
California Pizza Kitchen rolling out some deals on one of its menu items.
It's all thanks to a woman who shared details of her rough week on TikTok.
Wait.
I'm having the worst week of my life. I'm injured. My boyfriend and I broke up. So I ordered mac and cheese from California Pizza Kitchen, and they just sent me cheese. Just cheese. No mac. There's no noodles. There's none. Look, the bag is empty. There's just some bread, and they sent me cheese.
Insult to injury for this poor lady. The woman says when she called the restaurant, they told her she needed to specifically order the noodles.
What? No.
To avoid receiving just cheese.
She didn't order cheese.
The video went viral and eventually reached CPK. Here's how they responded to it.
At California Pizza Kitchen, there's nothing more important to us than the quality of our food and taking care of our guests. Since recently we gave one of our guests only half a mac and cheese, we're going to give all of our guests half off mac and cheese starting today through the rest of the month. Use promo code cheese and mac and follow us online for more details.
Okay, that's how you deal with it.
Done.
You just face it head on and say we're going to
Way to go,
make
Paul.
you happy.
Yep.
You heard it there. You can now get an order of mac and cheese for half off. The deal goes through the rest of the month. As for the woman,
the cheese looks fucking disgusting. That's the cheese they put on their mac and cheese?
she needed to specifically order the noodles.
What? No.
To avoid receiving just cheese.
She didn't order cheese.
The video went viral and eventually reached CPK. Here's how they responded to it.
At California Pizza Kitchen, there's nothing more important to us than the quality of our food and taking care of our guests.
Okay, here's what I'm going to assume. It was she ordered it through like Uber Eats or DoorDash. And like they've got those little drop-down menus inside of things, and you got to go in and select shit. So that would be my guess at how she only ordered the cheese and not the. I don't know. Okay, so I've never seen a physical California Pizza Kitchen location. I've had a California Pizza Kitchen pizza before because for some reason. Curiouser really likes them. And she never got like actual pizza. It was always like a barbecued chicken pizza. And it had like red onions and barbecue sauce and shit. It was good. It wasn't bad. But like I would assume, I didn't know they had mac and cheese in the California Pizza Kitchen. I have no idea what they got.
Since recently we gave one of our guests only half a mac and cheese, we're going to give all of our guests half off mac and cheese starting today through the rest of the month. Use promo code cheese and mac and follow us online for more details.
Okay, that's how you deal with it.
Done.
You just face it head on and say we're going to
Way to go,
make
Paul.
you happy.
Yep.
You heard it there. You can now get an order of mac and cheese for half off. The deal goes through the rest of the month. As for the woman who posted that video, she received a certificate that she would get mac and cheese for a year. And free pizza, we hear. She also got a huge package of dry noodles. She says CPK's acts were very sweet and called it really good marketing. And that's how you keep your customer.
Brilliant marketing.
Now, if it was through you ordered directly from California Pizza Kitchen, I've got no idea how something like that could happen. You could just order, cheese. No fucking idea. Let me find you guys an animal video here. I might have already played this one once, but oh, can't do it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I've played it a couple times. I don't give a shit. I am so enthralled by this video. Here's an aardvark getting a bath. I eat mac and cheese a lot. I make really good mac and cheese, but I might have burnt myself out on it now. I've had some I made the other day, and I haven't even ate it. I really do need to adjust my diet just a little bit. Cut back on cheesy, greasy shit. Still have it. Don't cut it out of your life. Life is not fun. But like while I eat well, right? So like I buy good food. I buy high quality food. I don't eat any processed shit. My diet is a lot of cheese, a lot of sauces I make. I make burgers and pizza and fried chicken a lot. I love making fried chicken fingers and make my own French fries. Make my own potato chips and put blue cheese on them. I love chicken wings. I love making chicken wings, bitches. I eat a lot of salad, but I should eat more. I should fucking 75% of my diet is starch, cheese, and meats. And then 25%, I eat salad. I like corn an awful lot. I make a lot of green beans. I like broccoli. I'll steam broccoli and shit. Really get into and that's another thing. Like I like broccoli. One of the ways I like to make broccoli is I'll saute broccoli. Fucking broccoli is amazing. You saute it in a pan with some butter and some garlic and some salt and shit. Add some Parmesan cheese on top of it. Fuck no, I'm not vegan. I am a goddamn meat eater. We're gonna go in here and probably making meatballs here in a second. I've got some Italian sausage and I've got some hamburger meat. I love to cook. I'm probably gonna spend like the next 2 hours cooking human meat. Probably some lousy raccoon meat. Fucking everybody keeps asking about a cooking show. I've thought about it. I don't have time for more shit, guys. If I was a full-time streamer, sure, I'd make a cooking show. I've actually thought about it. I would like to actually like to be like a co-host with a woman who is has an OnlyFans or something, and I'd like to do a show called Comfort Food. CUMFORT. Comfort Food. I proposed it to. I have a gal. I hooked up with her many years ago, like a fucking decade ago now, and she was with a guy and I was with a girl, and we this was back in Craigslist days, and we swung, and I've always kept in touch with I was fucking in love with this girl. I was so head over heels for her. Of just being with her one time. And always kept in touch with her over Facebook or something or other. And a couple years back, about the time of the pandemic, she was talking to me in a very She lives on the other side of the fucking country. She's married with a kid now. She was like really wanting to settle down and shit. But she was also like, you know, she was very open about things. She was also a chef. And I had told her about my idea. And she's like, well, you can't have your titties out while you're cooking because it's a fire hazard. You might burn yourself and you don't want to burn your titties. And I was like, well, shit. I didn't think about that. So practical. Congratulations to her on her kid and her husband and shit. Could have been me. Well, not the kid part. Like this is probably not my cards. I don't like fucking kids. I mean, not fucking kids. Like, don't fuck kids. I mean, fuck kids, but not literally. Don't literally fuck. Let's go. I'm gonna say. Let me even see if I can even raid her. Try to get myself noticed by somebody who I might have a little crush on. She's married though. It's never to be. Oh, I didn't know what you were talking about, Smash. I didn't know whose feet you were talking about. Makes a lot more sense now that I look up and see the aardvark. Those feet. Remember, tomorrow night we're going to be on at like 7:45. Biden is speaking at 8 o'clock. We can find out what that news be doing, all that good jive and such and such. And we're gonna right into the bitchuation room. We're gonna go say hi to Francesca. I'm gonna try to get noticed by somebody a lot bigger than me. So can't use my usual sign off. So don't do anything I wouldn't do. However, that doesn't limit your options very much at all. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol.